Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks, as always, for listening to the podcast. And, of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
There's that noise again.
It's frightening every
I love
time.
that winding down. There you go. I love that winding down.
As if things are only downhill from here.
Things are coming to a screeching halt. I hear you. We might as well kick it in the ass here and fire up the radio show. Welcome, everyone, and all of y'all, to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. Right here from the get-go, let's say hello to a special pal who's helping us out this week. As many of you know, our guy Dana is honeymooning this week with his latest wife. What makes you react?
I just don't want to picture what's going on the honeymoon. I know what happens on honeymoons. You know what happens.
They're probably
honeymoons.
pumping back and forth like it's prom night.
I bet
yeah.
he's just gross.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
I hate to put that image in people's heads, but I don't want to have this just in mind.
Well, you know how he's kind of awkward and
well, he's
goofy?
silly. Yeah.
I bet he's awkward, goofy, and silly in the sack as well. So I don't blame you for not wanting to.
And I bet he makes those disturbing faces,
Yeah.
where he's kind of looking at someone, not this is my lover, this is my wife, but this is my prey. That kind of thing.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Like she's his prey.
Or like he hasn't eaten in months, and he's coming across a all-wing buffet.
You're probably right.
Yuck.
Dana's on his honeymoon with his latest wife, latest victim. So, filling in on the soundboard for Dana today is the effing program director around here. He's Ashley and Dana's boss, me and Josh's coworker. You've probably heard him doing an air shift here and there on 93X. Derek Madden, thanks for helping us out, Derek.
Thank you, guys.
First question, how do you like the hours?
They suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, they suck real hard.
We talked yesterday. Is day 2 worse?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, this afternoon, you're going to hate yourself. You're going to hate yourself. You're going to be a different person. You slowly become like Gollum.
I hate myself already, so I'm not too worried about that.
Welcome to the club, brother.
Yeah, yep.
Will
was
he?
there a moment at some point where Dana was like, hey, guys, maybe I should invite Derek to this wedding?
Okay, let me explain that.
Good question.
That's
to the
hilarious. We weren't invited at first, and it was a very it's one of the biggest weddings I've personally been to. I've gone more to small ones, I guess, but none of us were invited at first, and that changed when some folks dropped out.
Gotcha. So I was just a little further down the wait list, is what
I
you're
think
saying.
that's what, and also we guilted him into it.
Okay.
Hey, you know what, Derek? You were invited to my wedding, and you came to my wedding.
That's right, because
Yep.
that's what I do when people invite me to their weddings.
Yeah.
Josh is right. We kind of busted Dana's balls on air about not originally being invited to his wedding, just for comedic purposes, just to watch him sweat a little bit. And he does sweat quite easily. Next thing you know, we got invites in the mail, and Josh called him on the telephone and said, look, just because we were busting your chops on the air doesn't mean you got to invite us to this friggin' thing. And he said, no, some folks backed out. So you probably...
I did feel guilty.
You were probably next on the list if somebody had died or gotten sick.
Right.
Or was he establishing, he was trying to say, I'm the alpha here. I'm not inviting the boss.
I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe
Now-
he needs to be next on the list when it's time to sign the check.
Maybe
did I forget to sign?
Maybe he waits a little while. So, you've been stuck in radio for a long time, like the rest of us. Did you ever do mornings in your career?
No, I mean, I've been on the air in some big places and a lot of shifts, but I've never done like a regular morning show.
Yeah, the hours blow.
Yeah, it's rough, man.
And this is totally against your regular lifestyle.
Yeah, I'm a night person.
Yeah.
So this is like the end of my day if
Right.
I'm up at this hour.
Right.
Yeah.
What does Derek often say to you, Josh?
Well, it's funny when we first. How long have you been here? 5 years, 6 years?
10, man.
What?
10 years. 10 years last month.
Christ.
Yeah.
Hey, since I turned 50, I just don't understand time anymore.
10 friggin'
Has
years.
it really been 10
It
years?
has been 10 years. 10 years and change now.
Time flies with a pal like you, pal.
Oh.
Yeah, when you first
And a pandemic.
started. Yeah, that's true. When you first started, I don't know if you remember you saying this, but you said, "Hey, if I ever text or call you before you go on the air, I either had a really good night or a really bad night."
Yeah, that sounds like me.
Yeah, and your
That's accurate.
schedule hasn't changed.
No,
You
pretty
know
much.
what's fun is there was some lack of communication between us yesterday. You helped us out yesterday on the soundboard, and going into the show, Josh and I thought that you would rather not join our on-air conversations. We thought you even directly asked us to leave you out of our on-air conversations. So we never addressed you once during yesterday's show. And then after the program was over, you walked up and said, "So you guys don't want me to talk on your show?"
I spent the first hour with the mic open, just sitting there like,
He turned the friggin'...
I was surprised. I'm like, I thought you were joking. Yeah, because before it seemed like you're saying, no.
I thought for sure you had said, I thought for sure we had a meeting and you had said, "Nah, you don't have to include me." I had no idea that you had a live mic all day yesterday or all morning yesterday, or else we would have certainly included you. We're sorry about that. So today we're giving you permission to pop off as much as you like.
That's great. I know the Brotherhood will be excited because I know how much they love changes in the routine to this show.
You're intimately aware.
What? What's your specialty then? So if we're going to work for a day or two together, what's your specialty? You're a sports fan.
I am a big sports fan, yeah.
What else do you like to talk about? Sex?
We'll talk about that.
We'll
I'll
talk about sex.
talk about music. I could talk about, I don't know, all kinds of stuff.
All
man.
right.
I like to think I'm pretty versatile. on
You
the
are.
mic. Yeah.
You are.
Well, I'd like to know your thoughts on this text then from Medical Device Jesus. 3 things for Dana's boss, he says. Go Twins.
Okay.
Braves suck. Gant fell down.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I see.
We're going. You got to give a little background here now.
I see. Well, I would say to you guys, how's it gone for Minnesota sports since the 1991 World Series?
Well, it hasn't been great.
If you're a Lynx fan, it's been pretty good.
Yeah,
You're
there
a
you
Lynx
go.
fan. Derek,
The curse of Ken Herbeck is real, people.
okay. You spent a lot of your youth in Atlanta, Georgia.
I did, yeah. I'm from Atlanta.
You were in Atlanta in 1991 when the Twins and Braves faced each other in the World Series.
Yes, I was.
And if you're an older person and you remember that World Series, you remember the controversial moment at first base between Twins first baseman Ken Herbeck and a feller by the name of Ron Gant,
That's right.
who was playing for the Braves at the time, who was physically pulled off of first base by Ken Herbeck.
A large man. It takes a lot of effort to pull Ron Gant off of first base.
Herbeck was
Herbeck's a big guy.
was twice the height of Ron Gant, but Ron Gant was built like a brick house. Herbeck, one of the controversial moments of the series where Herbeck pulls him off of first base. They tag Gant. Big argument. You know, we here in Minneapolis said, "F you, Ron Gant. Get off of first base."
That's right.
You people in Atlanta were saying, "What is this, all-star wrestling? You can't just pull a man off the..." So I remember when you first started here, walked into the radio studio, and I looked behind me, and you had posted a picture on the wall. You had tacked up a picture on the wall of Kent Herbeck pulling Ron Gant off of first base. So there's been that little bit of bitterness between us from the get-go over the 91 World Series.
I live fairly near Target Field, and every once in a while I walk by that statue, and it may get an obscene gesture from me every
Sure.
Like the masturbation sign. All right, so you love shoes. You're a big sneaker guy.
Yeah, yes.
Catfishing Jesus wants to know, what's the holy grail shoe for you? Is there one that you really want to acquire?
Yeah, so there are a couple that I've been after. There's the Air Jordan 4 PSG which is kind of a rare one that you can't buy anymore. And then the J Balvin Colombian Sunset Jordan 3s. Those are the two I've been
Well,
at.
you know your
yeah,
stuff.
totally, man.
Shoes, right. I forget that about you. You have hundreds of pairs of tennis shoes.
Not quite hundreds, but yeah. I mean,
Dozens?
Dozens, I think,
Dozens.
is definitely fair. Dozens is definitely fair.
Josh also likes tennis shoes. You're a tennis shoe guy.
Well, I've got one pair, and it's because Derek bought them for me for Christmas.
What else do you like to talk about? Drugs?
I can talk about
Sex,
It's
drugs.
weird how much the Brotherhood seems to know about things that I like.
Well, we've talked many times
We do
about
talk about you. We talk about your shoe collection. We talk about your forearms because they're massive.
They're popping.
I like kickboxing. That's another thing that might be related to the forearms. I don't know.
Kickboxing? You're into
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
competitive kickboxing?
I did competitive when I was younger. I don't do that anymore now. I just hit a bag in a class, pretty much.
Catfishing Jesus, by the way, of the shoes you mentioned, he got back to us and said those are dope. He loves sneakers.
Oh, nice.
So you can, how far can you get your leg up? I can't even go waist high.
So I'm a little bit more because I'm not a super naturally flexible person. I like to kick with power more than kick with height. That makes sense.
All right.
But
Go
yeah,
for
I
the
mean,
nuts.
I can get at your head if I'm in the right spot.
So you could do that Olympic moment, the wapa, oh my
Heck
word.
yeah.
You could, she's a kickboxer.
Jiu-Jitsu Jesus wanted to know if Derek is one of the coworkers I caught masturbating in the office.
proud to say that's a no.
That's what he'll say. I've got a different answer than that. But I recently saw that gentleman, Mr. Masturbate at the office.
You've been a program director for many years.
Many years.
Which
yeah.
means you're not only dealing with record companies and various jagoffs like that, but you're also managing childlike on-air personalities. And that sounds miserable to me. I've been in the business for 30 years. I would never want to try to manage radio people. So tell us about one or two of the goofiest characters you ever had to deal with, or maybe like a very original problem that you had to manage. After all these years, you got to have stories.
Oh, man. Well, first of all, when I describe to people like what this job is like, I like to say like I want to find and work with talented people and then just put them in positions to succeed, which
Right.
is why today is hilarious because you guys it's the total opposite of that. With me running this board, you're now in the worst possible position to succeed today.
You do all right with the board. It's not an easy thing to jump into.
No, it's
a
a
learning
complicated
curve.
situation, especially for the morning show.
There's a lot happening. I mean, you get generally it's ego stuff, right? It's always like, what about me? Why didn't you think of me to do this? Or a lot of times it'll be a band and you're like, oh, do you think that guy in the band will care about this thing that I'm doing? Where it's like, no, they really want to do this interview in 10 minutes and get the hell out of here.
Sure.
It's generally those kinds of things. Or it used to be, can I do the stage intro at the show? Those kind of sort of demands that are they're just the me-centric stuff.
Okay. Self-centered type stuff.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything like, I've had some people say some pretty silly stuff, but I don't think there's anything like, no one's ever done anything too crazy because we try to weed out the a-holes over time, right?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure. So there was never that that character where, I don't know, you kept the office locked or anything like that?
No. We had that time the one guy asked the CEO about the van. You were here for that.
The van? What about the van?
Oh, was it about the tires on the van?
Oh, not that guy again.
Yeah.
Not that guy.
Now, you caught a gentleman, Matt. Are you aware?
I
of
did.
somebody you
Yes,
worked
I did do. Well, I didn't personally witness it, but it was in that era of studio webcams, so I witnessed it. I just didn't witness it as it was happening.
You were the boss at the time, and someone informed you that a webcam...
Listeners discovered it. Yeah.
And this is, your story's way better than mine. I just saw some kind of, aggressive masturbation from two different guys.
Yeah.
But what you saw was pretty crazy.
It was one of those things where you hear about it and you're like, well, okay, maybe it's not what people saying it is. Maybe it's not so bad. And then you see the video and it is absolutely what everyone is saying it is. Like the guy in a studio with no blinds, much like the one you're in now.
Yeah. Windows, no blinds.
Yeah. Looks left, looks right, pops the DVD in the computer, starts going to town. There's nipple play. Like
that's the best part. Yeah. Jakes. Yeah, that's the part I love the most.
The dude
nipple play.
He played with his nipples.
Dude.
Yeah, like there's no doubt what this guy was doing.
And again, how was he found out? He didn't realize the camera was on his computer.
Yeah, there's a camera in the studio, and he did not realize that it was on in public, and listeners saw it.
But he was aware it was there, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's always there. It's always in the, everyone knows that there's a camera in there. They just didn't think it was on.
What's it like having that conversation with, what's it like sitting him down in his office? Were you the one who had to bust out the news to him that, hey, look, dude, you were jagging it and playing with your nipples and our listeners saw it?
Well, fortunately,
were you the one who had to bust that news out on him?
No, because it was the big topic of the morning on the morning show. So, yeah. So 4 hours of intensive coverage of this event.
He learned about it from his coworkers on the morning show.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's one of those things where you have the meeting and the guy knows what the meeting is going to be like before he walks in. So it actually went pretty fast.
I would barf myself to death if that were me, and I found out it was on video.
I would hate to have that conversation with him, too.
I just don't think I could bring myself to that meeting. I think I would call the boss and say, look, whatever we got to talk about, let's just talk about it over the phone because I'm too friggin' embarrassed to show up.
Yep. I've had one of those, too, where it's like, one of those meetings where you're going to fire someone, and you kind of start going through well, this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and they'll go, you don't need to finish. I'll leave.
And they'll just walk out?
Yes, sir.
What a gig. You are very well-traveled. That much we know about you.
I do like to travel,
You love to travel.
I do think it's funny when you look at your lifestyle and my lifestyle that we're the same age. With dating and traveling, and you're always going out of town.
Kids are not kids.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
always doing cool stuff.
Are you still very single?
I'm still very single.
Very single. Love to travel. You see a lot of shows. Not all of them you want to go to, but you see a lot of shows.
I see a lot of shows.
You meet a lot of big-time people.
I do.
In your position. So who would be, let's say, your favorite rock star you've ever met in your career? Someone who you just thought, you don't even have to like their music. You just thought they were just one of the coolest people you've ever been lucky enough to meet.
That's like, that's one of the weird things is like you definitely find as you go through this that how much you like spending time with someone has very little to do with how much you like their music.
Okay,
like,
sure.
It could, a lot of the bands you love are just miserable to be around.
That's true.
And that's why they say don't meet your heroes.
Yeah, see, I'm a Kiss fan. I know all about. How just because you love the band doesn't mean you love them personally.
Yeah, I'm a Radiohead fan. My favorite band is Radiohead, and they made an entire movie called "Meeting People is Easy" about how they hate meeting people.
That's funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
For me personally, the two nicest rock stars I think I've ever met would be Jared Leto, who at the time I wasn't really a 30 Seconds to Mars fan. I am now. But he was so cool to us.
Yeah, he's a very nice guy.
He was one of the nicest, nicest musicians we've ever had in the studio. And the other one was Tom Morello of Rage Against the Machine. Yeah. I was never a big Rage fan, but he flew in to do radio interviews, and he could not have been more down to earth and nice.
Yeah, I agree with you. Jared Leto, I wouldn't know a 30 Seconds to Mars song if you shoved it up my bottom, but he's a great guy. So,
have you seen his movies? Or are you a fan of the
I watched him in a movie once. He had a very small role. It was about breaking into Jodie Foster's house and trying to...
Panic Room?
Panic Room.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know much else about it.
Fight Club, you seen?
Never saw it.
Never saw Fight Club?
No, never saw it.
That's crazy to me.
Wow.
So
there was one where he was... he was just in a movie where he was a serial killer. He was pretty good in that. I heard Morbius is terrible. Didn't watch that.
So you were saying, who is your favorite?
So a band that we play that I think are really cool to hang, the Shinedown guys are really good.
They are very friendly.
Yeah, gosh, and they're so amazing.
All right, I've never met those guys.
Yeah, really nice dudes. And sneakerheads as well. So know their stuff.
They love tennis shoes as well?
Yeah.
They're also Georgia guys, aren't they?
I believe from Mississippi.
Oh, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Okay. What about a complete dick? that you met?
A really hard one for me, the Beastie Boys.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Seemed like they'd be pretty nice guys.
We were
Yeah.
just, well, then why the hell do you program them so often? we were just talking about them a couple days ago. They were not friendly.
They were not well, and they kind of famously don't really like to do like interviews. And I had to interview them, and it was just basically a test to see how hard they could screw with me for 15 minutes.
I once stumbled upon an interview that you did on air with one of my favorite bands, Night Ranger.
Oh yeah, I've talked to Night Ranger quite a few times.
Yeah, and I thought you guys got along well.
Really nice dudes.
Yeah.
Night Ranger guys. Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, listeners want to know if you're gonna, now that you're on the board, are you gonna play the Sound of Silence now that you're
They are sending in requests.
on board with it?
All day long. All day long.
I thought I had something or another. Oh, since you're such a big traveler, where's your favorite spot to go to?
Well, I'm a big fan of London. I was just there.
You like that goofy soccer and whatnot, don't you?
I do enjoy the goofy soccer.
Yeah, and Dana and you bond over watching European soccer.
I don't know if you could call it bonding what they do.
Well, yeah,
bit of
because
a
we like
rivalry.
rival teams, so
There's a little
bit of a trash talk.
Oh, I wouldn't know the rivalry team, so you attack each other over there. You like to go to London?
I do like to go to London. Spain was a really cool destination. I've been to Mexico a few times the last couple of years. I'm trying to get to Mexico every winter now. That's
okay.
Sort of because the cold is not my friend.
What's it like? So you're a single guy. Dispensable income. Tell me about it. It sounds pretty good.
Look at him giggling over there. Some bitch knows it's true.
Deals are good. Yeah,
If that was you, Josh, you'd still be doing the same thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't do anything different. I figure, our
You
houses
get more
are...
at Chipotle.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. I'd go out to eat more. Big Rig Fenders Jesus wants to know if you've met Five Finger Death Punch.
I have, yes.
I am a fan of those guys. Their guitar players are incredible. I've never met them. I know for a while it didn't seem like they were here all the time, Nick, and maybe they dated an ex-girl or somebody did.
I couldn't tell you. I don't remember. Unfortunately, I get confused as to who's who pretty quickly. So
We were really the first station to play those guys, and I think they used to crash on Pablo's couch in the early days.
Man.
That's how
Yeah, I
how
thought
long
there was a
we've gone
story
back
like
with
that.
them. Yeah,
That's so cool.
the most powerful person's telephone number that you currently have in your cellular telephone. Most
man.
powerful, influential, the name that holds the most star power in your cell phone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Would it be Nick Bourne?
It could be.
I don't give program directors my phone number. And you know that, Josh.
Silly me.
Yes. I never answer their emails nor their phone.
Do you know Skin Diamond, the porn star? I think I got her in there somewhere.
I do. How the hell do you know?
Skin Diamond?
I've heard the name. I don't think I could pick her out of a crowd. Is this a former girlfriend?
No, we never dated. But yeah, I had her on the show a couple times when I was in LA.
What a name.
Yeah.
Wow.
Daughter of Debbie Diamond, I think. I could be mistaken. Well, we're happy to have you with us, Derek. We really are.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here, other than the hours, which suck.
Yeah, they suck. We have really enjoyed working with you over the last, now we learned 10 years. Josh thought it was 5 or 6, but it's 10 years.
Yeah.
You are an easy guy to work with.
We've threatened you if you ever left us. We've made that threat a couple times.
We're sorry we ignored you yesterday.
It's all right.
There was a lack of communication. Josh and I had a conversation with another coworker off air yesterday, and your name came up. And this fellow coworker said something they find interesting about you is that you are not easily rattled at all. You are able to keep your cool and keep your presence of mind in any situation.
This sounds like it's going to be trouble.
No,
this is
truthfully.
This is not a setup.
And I had told him, I said, you're 100% right. If I ever see him rattled, I know there's some S going down, and I should be pretty nervous about it.
So this was a compliment that this coworker gave to you.
Thank
that
you.
You're just a cool customer. You keep yourself composed no matter the situation. So tell us, what's a situation that can rattle you? I guess more or less what I'm asking you is what scares you? What scares you? What makes you nervous?
That's a good question.
You don't
First
mind
of all, I
airplane
used to get
rides.
rattled a lot. You know
used
what
to
I mean?
get rattled.
Yeah, I used to get pretty emotional over time, I think I've become a lot more zen.
Okay.
I do meditation, stuff like that. And I think a lot of that sort of helps me manage the crazy emotions that can kind of come when you get in an argument with somebody or
hippie nonsense. You're into hippie nonsense.
You told me to try that once. I couldn't do it. I think maybe you have to practice. I tried it one time and it didn't work at all.
Yeah, practice is sort of a big part of the whole deal. Yeah.
So what does rattle you? What does freak you out?
I think obviously Jeopardy. If there was a bear in here, I'd be pretty freaked out. You know what I mean? if I felt I was in some sort of danger, I think I'd probably be pretty rattled, or someone holding you at gunpoint or whatnot.
We have had a tiger in studio before.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
That was fun.
Gosh, I'm so jealous that I wasn't here for that.
It was
although when it sneezed, it was terrifying because it sounds like it's going to attack.
Yeah.
How big was the tiger?
Oh, it's giant, huge. I mean, hundreds of pounds.
I remember it being kind of scrawny and malnourished.
No,
really.
It was a big guy.
Was it?
I've got a picture of him somewhere. I should bring that in.
My sister used to be a zookeeper, so I have some weird animal knowledge, and one of the things is the tiger is the craziest animal in the zoo, and if you're the tiger keeper and the tiger gets loose, your responsibility is to lock all the doors and lock yourself in with the tiger. And
get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
You basically have to sacrifice yourself to the tiger.
It's more important to contain the tiger than it is for you to live.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
I wonder if anybody, if they're faced with that situation, would go down with that ship, or if they just be running their tail.
Yeah,
do you follow zoo protocol and sacrifice yourself for the greater good of the zoo, or do you say F protocol and run like hell? I think I'm a run like hell guy.
Yeah, I mean,
be like, I just hit that button, just too late, man. I went for it.
Yep.
But
unless you have a history in the military or as a first responder, I think most of us civilians, we're taking off. Everyone else is on their own.
Another question from a listener. You've been involved in radio for many years. You know music up and down. You know all the bands. A listener wants your thoughts on White Lion's terrible cover of Radar Love by Golden Era.
Oh my gosh.
I agree with him that it is terrible.
He doesn't like it, Josh.
How do you not like it?
I don't know how you don't like it.
Wait, can we fire the boss?
We can.
That's a terrible statement to make.
Now, wait. I'll ride for wait.
Yeah.
Radar Love. No.
They're a hit factory, White Lion.
God, help us.
Talked a lot of big cats today, haven't we? Tigers and lions.
I suppose.
And bears. Oh, my. We covered everything.
Before we get out of this break, we got to take a break here in a minute. We were recently talking about you. We didn't name you, but now that you mentioned you said your sister was a zookeeper?
Yes.
We did mention that you have a brother or a relative. I forgot who it was.
Yeah, it's my brother.
Your brother who does what for a living again?
He is an ultimate Frisbee podcaster and writer commentator.
Ultimate Frisbee.
Dude, your family's so cool.
Yeah, your mom's a doctor. I don't know. Did you ever say what your dad does? Did you ever tell us?
It's not that exciting. He's a labor union exexecutive.
That's pretty cool. He's an executive.
He's got to have somebody's got to have a normal job out of all your family.
Yeah, does anyone in your family have just anyone in your family work at a gas station?
Well, my sister now works for a bank in HR, so that's a pretty normal job.
All right. Wow. But your brother is like the Bob Costas of Ultimate Frisbee.
And I didn't quite I knew he was doing that, and I always knew that he was into Frisbee, and he coaches and does stuff. But every once in a while, because he travels on the weekends to these tournaments and does all this stuff, and sometimes they do one out there in Blaine at that sports complex.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
So I went out just to hang out. Figured we're just gonna hang out and talk for a while, and the whole time people are coming up to us. Asking him what he thinks about the match and who's going to win and all stuff that I don't know. I don't know anything
He's
about
a friggin' known character.
And I was oh, okay, so this is a thing. People know who he is.
That's really interesting. That's really interesting. Well, you're a big Pearl Jam fan. Does this mean we're going to hear Pearl Jam this morning?
I don't think I have any lined up. Believe it or not, I don't actually program the radio station to my personal taste.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would if I was in that position.
Oh yeah.
I certainly would. Every day you'd probably hear that friggin' White Lion cover of Radar Love. Thanks, Derek, for helping us out, and we'll be jaw-jacking on and off this morning. For now, we should take a break. We'll get to the stupid news in a few minutes when we return on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Idly ho, neighborinos.
93X.
Half-assed morning show.
Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks as always for listening to the podcast, and of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
This is a PSA, or public sock announcement. Experts have declared Bombas socks as the best way to warm up chilly feet. These pairs are super cushy, soft, and designed for maximum coziness. Plus, for every pair purchased, another pair will be donated, so someone in need of essential clothing can stay warm this winter. Go to bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/listen and use code LISTEN at checkout.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Absolutely wonderful. You know, we were jaw-jacking a few minutes ago with our fill-in board operator, who also happens to be the program director around here. Derek Madden is the young man's name. Derek over there helping us out. Dana's on his gross honeymoon.
Oh, God.
I feel like Dana's a high-fiver on the honeymoon. You know what I mean?
Like after intercourse?
Yeah.
You know, I had mentioned it's just miserable to have to picture that. I was at their wedding even. I was thinking, oh, no, they're going to consummate this thing tonight.
Right,
you know,
right.
I remember that and that kind of thing. It's hard to put that image in your head. But then a few people texted in and said, hey, slow down a little bit. I've seen his wife. I'm okay picturing it. Few texters feel a little differently than I do.
Yeah, she's a babe.
Yeah, he's just not the kind of person I can picture in the throes of passion.
I've
But anyway,
never tried. So.
I try not to.
Derek, I think he even admitted once on air that he's a post-sex high-fiver.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fist bumps, whole deal.
Fist bumps. Yeah. It's terrible. We need to knock this off or someone's going to puke. So Derek's helping out, filling in for Dana this morning. Josh, can you think of any former program director that we've ever had here that would agree to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to help out the morning show?
Yes.
You can?
But he wouldn't want to help out the morning show.
Oh, he'd want to be featured.
Yeah, he would want to be the morning show.
To feed his absolutely crippling ego.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. That dude would agree, but only if we made him the feature attraction.
Yeah, self-serving for sure. I think you know who we're talking about there.
I have an idea, yes.
By the way, so we've been talking back and forth, and listeners are popping off with the smart mouth comments. Like this one here, directed at Derek. And someone has to help me out. They say, is this the guy who got stuck in an elevator?
Oh, yeah. We talked about this like a couple weeks ago.
I don't remember this. When did you get stuck in an elevator?
Not that long ago, a couple months ago, maybe.
With a young lady?
By myself, completely by myself, yeah.
How'd that happen?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I was going somewhere, and then all of a sudden the elevator just stopped, like, between floors. And the worst part about it was my phone was on, like, 20%. So it was like just enough where it's like I got to preserve this because who knows how long I'm going to be here.
Yeah, you might have to survive.
Yeah.
How
but I
long
also
were
have
you
nothing
there?
to do I was there for like, I don't know, 45, 50 minutes.
That's too long. That's enough time to start panicking.
So my mother-in-law and my kids, my older ones, when Alex was born, when your godson Nick,
my godson,
They were visiting at the hospital, and they thought they'd have some fun, and they were jumping up and down in the elevator.
No,
right?
don't do that.
Yeah, you're right, Ashley. And the elevator got stuck. And I'll tell you what, that elevator repair guy, when they told him what happened, was not happy. He was enraged. He was so pissed off.
Yeah, so damn near an hour you were stuck alone in an elevator, unable to use your cellular phone.
Yeah, I mean, it worked, so I called the fire department.
Oh, you did?
That's how I got out.
Okay.
But you want to make sure that you have a little bit left in case you really need it for something.
Oh, I absolutely hate elevators. I'd rather walk up 10 flights of stairs than get on an elevator.
If there's one...
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I love elevators.
I hate them. Well, one, they just scare me, and two, they make me really nauseated. I get motion sickness really easily.
Also, like at the Mall of America, the ones with the glass back you couldn't do?
Oh, heck no. No.
I remember as a kid thinking that was a ride. My parents
Ashley,
took me on that just as a ride.
Wait till you hit your 50s. The stairs are going to be what scares you.
Yeah.
It changes. If there's one famous female, Derek, who you would have loved to be trapped in that elevator with, who would it be?
I got to pick one.
You got to pick one.
I mean, Alyssa Milano is the first name coming to my mind.
Alyssa Milano.
Nice.
Yeah.
From Who's the Boss?
Yeah. But I mean, I could probably do better if I sat there and thought about it.
Give it some time. You got till 9.
Okay.
Stupid news report. Here we go. For the love of cripes. Let's get into it. First off, I'm not trying to send anyone into a panic here. But the truth is, $350,000 worth of meat has gone missing. And I bet a few of you has just said to yourself, or maybe you even said it out loud, you said, I'll show you $350,000 worth of meat. And that's a cute comment, but we don't have time for jokes right now. Not when that amount of provisions has gone unaccounted for. Cubby, 80,000 pounds of carcass snatched away from a meat packing plant in the state of Tennessee. 80,000 pounds, $350,000 worth.
I'll bet that's not easy to move.
You know what you need?
What's that?
And this is the first time I've heard of this bit. You need the old fake trucking company bit.
Sure. I've watched shows where that's a part of it.
Is that right?
Yeah. They have a trucking company, and I'm watching one right now where they're supposed to be moving oil, but they're not. They're moving drugs and human trafficking.
Wow. The fake trucking company gimmick has struck again. All this meat was supposed to be delivered to customers, but the shipping coordinator guy subcontracted the job out to a trucking company called List, L-I-S-T, Trucking Sales. And unfortunately for the shipping coordinator guy, List Trucking Sales is not a legitimate business. On top of that, no one checked out the truck drivers who picked up all that animal flesh. Truck drivers, shady bastards, every last one of them.
Well, I thought I'd take a risk and check the text messages here, and a lot of them directed at my mom and how much meat she could handle.
Ah, boy. No one is completely sure what the thieves plan to do with all that beef. They still haven't been caught. Now it says here, there's a black market for everything. And with the high price of animal carcass right now, there's probably a good chance that the meat has already been sold off to someone or another. The bad guys must have had a plan.
I once thought I was being sold black market meat.
Did you go to one of those trucks that park in a grocery store or something?
No,
lot?
They came to me. They were just driving through the neighborhood. It was an unmarked white van, and they came up and asked, hey, we're selling meat or whatever. And I turned them down thinking, this doesn't seem right. And then I had plenty. I think I brought it up on the air, and we got text saying, no, that's legit. It's totally legit. So they never came back through the neighborhood, though.
I've seen those before. They've came into the bar before and tried selling meat or seafood. And I'm like, where am I going to put that? I can't buy a T-bone steak right now. I'm going to be here for the next 3 hours.
You were working and they tried to sell you a T-bone steak?
No, I was just there as a patron.
Oh, as a customer. I suppose you could have, the bar probably would have put it in the freezer for you for a few hours. Anyway, my dad had a buddy who was a door-to-door meat salesman 35, 40, 45, 50 years ago. door to door. Ding dong, would you like to buy some this? You'd like to buy some that? I thought it was kind of an interesting gig.
Yeah, so like the same type of thing. I'm just like cold calls. Basically, they just go to a door and see if you're interested versus ordering it like a Schwann's or whatever they're called now.
Maybe these thieves are in the process of building America's largest meatball or something. I don't know. It's the ultimate male versus the ultimate meatball. What movie?
Meatballs.
Come on.
I don't know. I'm not good at this.
You should know this.
Cloudy
Derek,
with a chance of meatballs.
the quote, you're focusing too much on the word meatball. Derek,
it should be on mail. You've got mail.
No.
I'm guessing stripes.
The ultimate male versus the ultimate meat. I'll give you a hint. Thunderlips is here in the flesh.
Rocky 3?
Rocky 3.
Yeah.
Oh, I never saw Rocky 3.
Thunderlips.
I didn't see that one. I thought that one wasn't supposed to be very good.
With Mr. T?
Yeah, I know. I love Mr. T.
You love Sylvester Stallone.
It doesn't make sense, but I never saw it.
You love Hulk Hogan.
Yes, I do.
You love Burgess Meredith.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
That's what Thunderlips
and Burt
says.
Young, but I saw him in other ones.
Burt Young. The ultimate male versus the ultimate meatball. All right.
So I should watch that, you're saying?
Well, I mean,
I thought it was supposed to be kind of a silly...
It's not the greatest Rocky movie, but it's a Rocky movie. That's why I'm shocked you haven't seen it multiple
you're right.
times.
Is
Rocky the meatball in that sentence?
Yes.
Okay.
Hulk Hogan plays Thunderlips, of course. Right. All right. I'm going to need some help here because I don't understand the words that will be coming out of my mouth. But as I always do, I'm going to go ahead anyway. It says here now, the latest bizarre creation to hit the godless internet is a Tamagotchi encased within a vape stick, a vape pen, a vape rod, whatever you call it.
This isn't great.
A Tamagotchi encased within a vape stick, and the Tamagotchi's life depends on your continued inhalation.
I don't think this is focused on children at all, right?
Well, who said it?
This isn't trying to get kids hooked on nicotine whatsoever.
I sense the sarcasm. Were you into Tamagotchi?
Oh, heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
Okay, see, I don't even know what Tamagotchi is. So it's a kid's character?
So a Tamagotchi it's like a little handheld device, and you have a little pet on there, essentially, and you have to feed them, give them water.
Oh.
You just take care of them like they're an electronic dog.
I told you I wouldn't understand the words coming out of my own mouth. So it's like a little cuddly little character, and you care for it.
Yep.
And you have it on a little computer screen.
Yes.
Okay. If you stop vaping, the Tamagotchi dies. So Ashley did a pretty good job of explaining what a Tamagotchi is.
Sounds like the worst Taken ever.
Right. Liam Neeson, Taken 5, whatever he's up to.
Save Tamagotchi, and if you don't vape, he dies.
Save the Tamagotchi. I think what they have going here now is your vape rod is connected to the little computer screen that Ashley was talking about. You take your puffy puffs off the vape rod, and you can see your little Tamagotchi friend dancing around on the screen. He's happy when you're taking hits from the rod. And if you stop, he dies. This invention, if that's what you want to call it, is something that was created at an event called, and this is going to be a task for me to get through this right here. Are you ready? This Tamagotchi death vape game is something that was created at an event called the Stupid Hackathon Tamagotchi, hosted by New York University's Tisch School Interactive Telecommunications Program and its Interactive Media Arts Department. Oh, my God. Am I still conscious, John?
Do you need something to drink?
College kids developed this.
Stoned college kids.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. So who outlives who? The person vaping constantly to keep the Tamagotchi alive?
Yeah, right. College students were challenged to craft, quote, absurd and utterly useless projects. They say to the kids, if you've got an idea so ridiculous that it must exist, this is the place to make it happen. And one of the creations is what I just told you about, what they're now calling the vape-agotchi. And again, if you ever stop sucking the vape shaft, your Tamagotchi pal will effing die.
There's a few people texting in saying they have vapes you can play games on.
Yes, I've seen those.
No kidding.
They're very, very high tech now.
I've still never held a vape in my strong, manly hands.
One of those big old douche flute ones that are bigger than your hand.
What are the ones that are basically squares? You know what I'm talking about?
Elf bars, I'm guessing you're talking about?
I'd never heard that term.
Yeah, they're a pretty nice square.
It's all still completely foreign to me. Rebecca Zune and Lucia Camacho are the names of the college kids who came up with this vape-agotchi. They'll likely be millionaires someday while I'm at home still trying to understand the remote control for my television set. The story goes on to discuss the motivations behind their creation. Is it a critique of the vaping industry's role in reigniting nicotine addiction among younger generations? Is it a commentary on the increasing tech dependency among the young people? You know how some kids, when they get into college, they like to come off all deep and inquisitive like that. They question everything. I'm sure you've noticed. What about the vaping industry, Josh, and its lack of stringent regulations? They're asking all these.
I couldn't tell you how stringent the regulations are there.
So the question posed at the end of the article here is this just a stupid invention or reflective of something deeper? My answer would be I couldn't possibly care less about anything in the world, but maybe you do.
This is crazy. So text coming in. People know a lot about vapes. Tire Guy Jesus used to have one that you could make phone calls on.
That's insane.
Working 24/7 Jesus. His son has a vape that has earbuds you can attach to it. Yeah, a lot of people are saying you can have some that are connected to Bluetooth.
Oh, I'd be so much more angry if I lost mine, if it could do all those things.
You were a vapor, but now you've quit because of your pregnancy.
Yeah, they frown upon that.
Will you hop right back on the rod once that baby hits the streets?
Honest, I say no, but probably, to be honest. I miss it quite a bit.
I hear you.
Is the smoke, like, okay for your baby? The vape smoke, is it better than if you were smoking cigs?
Some people say
when they're alive.
Like,
sorry,
once the baby's
alive.
See,
sorry.
that's still out. Some people say that it is. Some people say that it's not. It's really a hot topic, to be honest.
But you're going to find out either way, it sounds like.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
You'll find out.
I imagine it'll make me very sick going back to it from having the lack of nicotine and then just jumping back in. I don't think that would make me feel very good.
Speaking of all that, deep thinking, like college students questioning everything, it made me think of one of the hardest I've ever laughed in my life was a number of years ago, Cubby and I at a haunted house, a haunted field, a haunted attraction. What do they call it these days?
Are you thinking of the haunted hayride?
Haunted hayride. That's what we were at, a big haunted hayride set up. They've got a few haunted houses. They got a bar. They've got a pumpkin patch. They've got a hayride, right? And Josh and I were together. And, in a group of people, they kind of organize you in a group of people, some of them strangers. And, of course, the topic of conversation while we were walking along this path headed for the haunted hayride, everyone's saying, I went to this haunted attraction and it was scary. And I went to that haunted attraction and it wasn't that scary. So the topic of conversation was scary this and scary that. And Josh says this, you want to talk scary? Have you seen the lack of nutritional value in the meals that our children are served at elementary schools these days? And I laughed so hard. Some people got it, some people did not.
Oh, really?
That's the real horror.
That's the real horror, people, he said.
You're nobody's paying any attention.
No, we're all talking about scary this and scary that. They're not thinking about the scariest thing, and that is the lack of nutritional value in the meals that are served to our children at their elementary schools these days. People Did not. There,
Dude,
later
I would
on,
have been on the floor laughing if I heard some stranger say that.
because you were thinking deeper than anyone else in the crowd. And what was great was even an hour later, I overheard people saying, "Did you hear that dude just make a comment about the nutritional value of it?" That was legendary stuff. All right. I'm telling you this right now. I don't care who you are. You'd be kicking yourself in the ass if you made this mistake. You'd be kicking yourself in the ass. You'd be slugging yourself in the nuts, punching yourself in the boobs until the day you die if you made this mistake. A boob punch, not comfortable, is it, Ashley?
Nope.
No.
Oh, God, no. It's been so long since I've had one of those.
Was
so
it
painful.
The last time you were punched in the boob, I'm going to guess one of your older brothers punched you in the boob.
Yep.
She's hanging on to them right now.
Yeah. Sorry.
No one's going to attack them.
I didn't even notice I was doing that.
Yeah, you're safe. It's like kind of like when you talk about hitting the nuts, and sometimes you cross your legs to protect them.
It's a subconscious reaction. She was just protecting them.
My dogs have gotten me a couple times. No, not as nearly as bad as somebody just actually aiming there, but God, it hurts.
Oh, I elbowed a girl in the boobs so hard once, and I felt terrible. That's the first time I realized how much that must hurt, and it was explained to me that they say it's equivalent to getting hit in the nards.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
You wouldn't say it's that bad?
No, because you guys get sick from getting hit. So
I didn't want to argue on the air with a woman about that, but I had that same thought.
It's a good move. It's a good move on your part. Yeah.
So here we go. This is what you'd be kicking yourself in the ass for if this were you until the day you die. A broken down old lady in Pennsylvania. She accidentally donated a jacket to charity. Well, it wasn't an accident that she donated the jacket to charity. She meant to do that. But what she forgot or wasn't aware of is that the jacket had a $2.5 million winning lottery ticket in one of the pockets.
You're right.
No.
Everything you said a person would do to themselves, I would do.
Oh, my damn.
I can't even imagine that.
As my dad used to say, he'd take to, quote, picking his teeth with a shotgun if he ever effed up. This busted old lady, she found out she had won the lottery, $2.5 million, and then realized she lost the ticket. Now, Josh knows that I've never liked charity. Right?
True.
Yeah.
I've never been.
You don't believe in it.
I don't believe in charity. And I bet this old gal is feeling the same way. Even her name is kind of sad and broken down. Mildred Simarnalutu.
Poor Mildred.
Mildred is the ultimate old lady name.
Yeah,
Yes.
You can tell someone's age when they're named Mildred immediately.
Should bring it back.
Mildred Simarnalutu. She says she bought the lottery ticket at a grocery store last May. 2 weeks later, she found out she was the winner, but she couldn't find the ticket. Oh, would I have a meltdown. The most dramatic adult-style temper spasm you've ever witnessed if I knew I won $2 million, but I can't find the ticket. The pets would be hiding under the bed.
There's no words for it. It was like beyond expression. How can I get it back?
That's Mildred?
Yeah, and of all the places to lose it, too, right? I mean, like if you gave an old coat to a friend or something, they'd see this and go, well, they certainly didn't mean to give this to me, but a charity, they might be thinking, what a wonderful person.
Well, sure.
And what a creative way to let us know we won, where we just find this ticket.
Mildred eventually remembered that she had placed the lottery ticket inside a jacket that she donated to the Vietnam Veterans of America. She's trying to do something nice, and it came back to absolutely jackhammer her in the can. The Vietnam Veterans of America organization donates clothing around the world, so that jacket could be anywheres. Now, if it was me, that's when I set my own home on fire. When the Vietnam Veterans of America organization tells me over the telephone, yeah, dude, we donate clothing all over the world, so there's no telling where that jacket is now, that's when I officially bust a spring.
I can't even imagine how bad the crash out would be.
I would begin pouring accelerant all over my home while scream crying in the nude.
I wouldn't want to be here anymore.
Nope.
Not at all.
The Pennsylvania lottery officials, they're cold as ice. They told old Mrs. Simon Ronner-Lito, whatever her name is, they said she must have the ticket in person to claim the jackpot. She has until May 8th to locate that damn ticket, or she can wipe her bottom with that $2.5 million.
I guess what I don't understand here is, right, like when you're donating a jacket to charity, presumably it's a jacket you haven't worn in a while, right? That's why you're donating it to charity.
Sure.
So 2 weeks after she won the ticket, it took her to find out that she won.
Yes.
And then just months and months of like not looking in the house, or like she was giving a jacket that she wore. She must have worn it when she bought the ticket, right? That's how it got there.
She's an older person. I think you have to consider she's an older person, and sometimes they're not always thinking straight. You know, why would you put a ticket potentially worth so much in an item that you've, like you were saying, more or less forgotten about at this point?
And why would you wait 2 weeks to check on your lotto tickets?
I don't.
Yeah, right.
What can she do? It could be anywheres at this moment. I mean, I would call Indiana effing Jones. Is he the guy for the gig, Josh?
He could find. He hunts down treasures.
Yes, it looks like he's making a return trip to the Temple of Doom. By God, because
he's well traveled.
Yeah.
I've seen the maps with all the red dots on it. Every place he's gone. Yeah, he's the guy for you.
If I found out that I won that amount of money, I would immediately go to a store, buy a safe, and then put the lottery ticket in that. That's the only thing that's in the safe.
Man.
Put it in like the middle of my living room where I can see it. Oh, this poor lady.
With the sign that says "Cash this."
Yes.
We get, we come across stories like this. My favorite being, well, this has got to be my new favorite when it comes to lottery winners and they can't locate the ticket, or they look forever and they finally find it. Josh, maybe you remember this one. Dude wins some massive, he was a lottery ticket guy. See, I'm not a lottery, I've never bought one lottery ticket in my time, but there are people who never miss a beat.
Oh, you never bought one?
Not once.
I've maybe 5 or 6, when it just gets crazy high. And everybody's talking about it.
Never done it.
I've bought a decent amount. My mom always tells me when I have to.
But there are people who this is their bit. Every different angle. They play all the different lottery games to see if they can get lucky. And so I imagine if you do it often enough and you lose regularly, which obviously most of us are going to do, the tickets become less important, right? You're not as worried because you're going to think, well, this is going to gain me nothing by buying this ticket. Anyway, maybe you remember this one, Josh. Dude won some insane amount of money. Couldn't find his ticket. Finally found it on the dash of his pickup, which he'd been driving around for weeks with the windows open. And somehow that ticket never blew out the cab of that pickup. And he found it. And he cashed it in, and he's living probably right now on an island somewhere. But, I mean, you want to talk about, first off, the bad luck of losing the ticket, and then the good luck that ticket never blew out a window. That fascinates me. Do you recall that one, Josh?
Yeah, absolutely. I also, just like you explained, I wouldn't rush to check my ticket, because especially when more and more people are buying them, right? The odds go down,
right.
I think I've been told. Yeah, I wouldn't rush because I would assume, well, I definitely lost.
I lost, yeah. So,
but I would know where I left it, that's for sure. I would know exactly where that ticket
you would
was.
always know. All right. I don't know if you want to call this cheap. Some of you might call it the smart way to go. If you can handle it, I guess. A young gal in China is currently living in the bathroom at her work to save money on rent. Think any of us could? You think you could live in one of the bathrooms here?
Not these bathrooms.
Yeah,
I think I could.
Maybe one of the ones in the back that nobody uses.
Those are huge.
That one's pretty nice.
Here's problem number one. They're so cold.
They are.
The
really
bathrooms
cold.
in this building are so cold, I think I know what it's like to live on Mars. So cold in here. In the building in general, but especially the bathrooms. So this gal posted photos of herself. I guess you'd call it unconventional living quarters. It's a small bathroom located inside the furniture factory where she works. Apparently it's all hers. Nobody comes in there to take a duke. The bathroom is no longer being used. I noticed there is no traditional toilet, but there is a hole in the floor. That's how they do it over there in China?
I guess so.
I wouldn't think so, but
there's like a hole in the floor with some porcelain. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So they sit on the floor when they go potty? I don't know anything about China. She's 19. She says she comes from a poor family and she couldn't afford to pay rent anywheres, so she's living in the John at work. She asked her boss. The boss said, go ahead. The boss offered to let her live in an office at the factory, but the young gal chose to live in the bathroom instead of an office. She's been doing it for about a month.
Weird. There's pictures of this on 93x.com.
Where does she eat?
In there. She's got a table and a bed, and it's very small, and again, no one's coming in there to take a squeege or have diarrhea. The bathroom is no longer in use. She's turned it into her living quarters, so yeah, she eats right in there.
Well, I guess if it's only hers.
And her, boss seems like he's been doing everything he can to help her out, but that's just her choice. She wants to stay there.
People are saying they squat over the hole.
That's how they do that regularly? Oh.
That's according to text messages.
I bet their quads are yoked if you have to do that all the time.
Yoked quads probably come with the territory. So check out the photos of this gal on 93x.com. Before we go, if you want to see another video, this one might gross you out. It might weird you out. It might make some of you reach into your drawers and touch yourself. It all depends on how you were raised. It's a video of the woman with the longest tongue in the world.
Oh.
And she shows off some of the tricks she can pull off, one of them being she can play the game Jenga with just her tongue.
I don't like that.
3.8 inches long, and she sticks her tongue out and she pokes away at the Jenga pieces until I don't know what the hell she's doing. She goes by the name of Chanel something or another. She's a 34-year-old, and I would. She held the Guinness. She has held the Guinness World Record for the longest female tongue since the year of 2010. She can play Jenga. She can flip plastic cups. She can hold a spoon with her tongue. She said this, direct quote, I can do things that are outside the box. Now, was that a smart-ass comment?
I would say she's probably doing something like that.
What do you think of the gal with the world's longest tongue, Josh?
Pretty cool. I have an aunt that could tie cherry stems with her tongue.
Yeah?
Have you ever seen something like that before? It's very confusing.
On television, I have.
I can do that.
Can you really?
I can double knot them.
That's it. I don't understand how it even
No, I don't.
works.
It just takes practice.
I guess so.
I can do the alphabet.
I can touch my nose.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Your tongue is that long? Mm-hmm. Or your nose is that big? Can you really?
No.
Oh, wow.
My mom
that's
can
cool.
do. Oh, I shouldn't say it, but she can do that as well. She's got a bigger schnoz. She had it broken when she was a kid, and it just kept growing.
I got to say, this feels like an OnlyFans situation with the tongue thing, where it feels there's a revenue opportunity there.
Or Cam Soda is going to reach out to her, something like that.
She'd be dumb if she didn't.
By the way, update from the Brother and Sisterhood. The odds do not change, I'm being told, on winning the lottery if it's one of those huge ones and everybody's playing. It's just you split it with more people, most likely. Because not too often those like $1 billion ones or whatever, you hear one person won it, right? It's just shared by a bunch of people.
Remember the big group of bar friends who would collectively get involved in the lottery, and one dude, they did it, month after month after month after month for years. And one dude finally said, yeah, I'm out, right? And then they win, and then the friggin' guy wants back in, and he's looking to sue everybody. Hey, dude, you said you were out. When you say you're out, you're out.
One time.
Yeah. F me, what a piss poor luck.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Fly ball to center field. Harris is back. Oh, Tony! Inevitable! Start for the defending champs. Unprecedented.
Ohtani, he said inevitable? Is that what he said? Ohtani, inevitable.
Yeah.
Well, what does he mean by that? Anyway, of course, Shohei Ohtani hit a walk-off home run on his effing bobblehead night.
That's what he means by that, I think.
Oh, okay. That is what he means by that.
Yeah, the bobblehead thing.
On his friggin' bobblehead night, he hits a walk-off. He's getting on my nerves at this point, this Ohtani
Too many
guy.
good things?
Too many good things.
Yep.
And he skated by that scandal too easily last year.
Yeah, I agree.
The Dodgers are 8-0. They might not lose all year long. It appears that things might be beginning to even out a little bit for the Twins. They got a win yesterday, and today's the big home opener.
Woohoo!
Twins and Astros first pitch is at 3:30 over there at Target Field. The Pigs, for once, scoring goals wasn't a problem, but it was also just as easy for their opposition. In New York City last night, the boys dropped one in overtime by a 5-4 final against the Rangers. Timberwolves are at the Brooklyn Nets tonight, 6:30, and there's possibly some news concerning who is the new owner of the Timberwolves. We might have a little information on that coming up when Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder duck into the mix here in about a half hour. Don't go nowheres because Josh's news report's coming up next.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Nice. 93X.
Nice. Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks, as always, for listening to the podcast. And, of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
This is Women's Work with Nicole Khalil.
I wish you health, physical, mental, emotional, financial, social, and most definitely spiritual.
Redefining what it means to be doing women's work.
I would rather have the temporary pain of discomfort than the avoidable pain of regret.
But hear me when I say this. Believe in something. Believe in yourself. That, more than anything, is absolutely woman's work.
This is Women's Work from Believe. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Hey, wait a minute. You two look kind of familiar. Ain't you them kids that have been whacking off in my tool shed?
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
It's not like you can hide him. It's not like you're going to put him in your front yard. Everyone was like, is this real? Did Eduardo really get kidnapped? Yes, he did. He is gone.
Police are on the lookout for a brazen bovine bandit who made off with a life-sized 300-pound stainless steel bull named Eduardo. This happened from outside an Edina business.
It's a big loss. You know, I don't want to exaggerate, but Eduardo was the heart and soul of this building. He really, really was. He was more than just a hunk of metal. I don't want to sound crazy, but you know, he was our mascot. He was our guy.
There's a reward out for Eduardo's safe return, just over a couple grand. But the owner is offering double that if Eduardo comes home and the douchebag who cow-napped him ends up behind bars.
Don't want to sound spiteful, but we're offering $2,500 for Eduardo's safe return, no questions asked. And I'm going to pay $5,000 if he's returned and somebody goes to jail.
I think we should look into this guy's relationship with Eduardo.
He does seem very attached. Eduardo, however, is no longer attached to the chains that were holding him down, and he's missing. If you swapped out the shiny metal bull with a kidnapped kid, that owner's offer reminded me of the movie Ransom, where Mel Gibson's character turns the tables on the kidnappers who took his son by putting a bounty out on their heads.
Well, this is what waits for the man that took him. $2 million in unmarked bills, just like you wanted. But this is as close as you'll ever get to it. You'll never see $1 of this money, because no ransom will ever be paid for my son. Instead, I'm offering this money as a reward on your head. Dead or alive, it doesn't matter. So congratulations, you've just become a $2 million lottery ticket. Do you know anyone that wouldn't turn you in for $2 million?
Oh, God.
I think you do.
Oh, I love that movie.
You like that
I
one?
know one lady who wouldn't turn him in for a $2 million lottery ticket.
If she could find it. Edina police learned of the unique theft Monday afternoon and say they're actively investigating the bull's disappearance.
Where's the beef?
That's the question. In the meantime, local scrap yards have been put on alert and are keeping an eye out for Eduardo.
There you go. Check the frat houses.
Yeah, exactly, right? North Dakota mayor has resigned after an investigation found he accidentally sent an explicit video of himself jacking it to the city attorney earlier this
God,
year.
help us all.
Whoopsies. According to the report, the explicit clip featured the mayor in a not-so-official capacity, and it was swiftly followed by a frantic text begging the attorney not to watch it, to delete it, and to please, for the love of God, keep it quiet.
Well, why is he recording himself while jacking it in the first place?
He explained.
Oh, he does.
He later clarified the video was actually meant for his romantic partner.
Romantic partner.
And he filmed himself masturbating over a lunch break.
Oh.
Jesus.
The city attorney, who reported directly to the mayor, spent some time considering whether to formally report the incident. In her complaint, she asked for an apology and suggested the mayor step down, which he did. He announced his resignation the same day that report went public.
He said he takes responsibility for the mistake and said, "My stepping down is one more decision that is best for all of Minot."
Prior to whipping his D out on camera, the former mayor had been a city council member before being elected to lead North Dakota's fourth largest city in 2022. Now he's stepping away from public service.
I would too.
And hopefully you got to double check that recipient list. You got two names too close together, and I mean, you've had it happen to you, Nick, in a different way. And
it was terrible.
A lot of people have probably texted something to the wrong person.
You know, you can unsend the text now. It seems like that would save him a lot of trouble there.
Yeah, I wonder, maybe he doesn't have that feature.
Yeah.
He has an Android.
And it was earlier this year, so maybe, I know that wasn't.
You can unsend a text.
Yeah, you have to be pretty quick, though.
It lets the other person know, doesn't it?
Yes. It'll say.
I think in this case that would have been appreciated.
Yeah, true.
Josh, do you record yourself while jacking it?
No. I got a guy for that.
Oh.
Yeah. I can't get the right angle.
Somebody needs to teach this dude how secret folders work.
Secret folders?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You can have like locked folders on your phone so you don't accidentally click the wrong thing.
Oh, but he wanted to send it to his girlfriend.
He
wanted her to see it, to say, look what I can do over lunch.
Girlfriend. That's who he was sending it to.
Yeah. Police in St. Cloud are trying to track down a 25-year-old man caught with his phone out inside a women's locker room at a local gym. Officers were called to the YMCA after staff received a report of a man in the women's locker area. According to staff, they confronted him after discovering he was alone in a private stall near a woman who was showering. The man, who was partially clothed and holding his phone, bolted from the scene before police arrived.
Yeah, they got to get that guy out of there.
Yeah, he deserves to get some justice for sure. A machete-wielding cinnamon bun bandit in North Carolina was caught mid-snack. Asheville police charged 33-year-old Jeffrey Broadburn in connection with an armed robbery at a grocery store Monday about 5:25 p.m. A store employee said the sticky-fingered suspect stole a cinnamon bun and incense, then revealed a machete when confronted before running away. Police said they found the suspect eating that cinnamon bun.
Incense and cinnamon buns.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great day.
Yeah.
He didn't really have a plan, did he?
I don't think so.
No, there was no planning.
I'm going to rob you of this $5 worth of merchandise. This eclectic collection.
With, very different smells, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Mashing into each other in that situation.
A Jacksonville Sheriff's Office officer is facing charges after stealing a woman's purse. According to officials, the woman, who was arrested by Officer Shane Metz back in December, told authorities she never got her purse back after being released from jail. A closer look at Metz's body-worn camera footage confirmed her story. It reportedly shows Metz searching through her purse, then placing it, still containing her personal belongings, into his patrol car before taking her to jail. Investigators say he never turned the bag in as evidence or submitted it as personal property as required.
Integrity detectives discovered that Metz searched the woman's handbag and then discarded it in an apartment complex dumpster. Metz was arrested for petty theft. As we have said many times before, no one is above the law.
The 37-year-old has since resigned from the force after being with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office for just over 2.5 years. This marks the fourth time this year a Jacksonville Sheriff's Office employee has been arrested by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
Wow, they're a little squirrely down there.
Yeah, they're having some issues. Earlier this month, on the 6th, a 54-year-old part-time non-sworn civilian employee in JSO Services Division was arrested on multiple DUI charges. The month prior, a now former officer was arrested on federal charges related to attempted production of child pornography. Good.
Jesus.
That followed a previous arrest in October on charges of false imprisonment and battery during a domestic violence call. And in January, one of their officers was arrested on a third-degree felony charge of official misconduct. He was accused of arresting a man without probable cause and providing inaccurate information in a written arrest report, which contradicted his body cam footage.
One of my high school buddies turned out to be a purse snatcher.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like multiple times? Or?
Yeah, his crime spree came to an end somehow, Josh. He snatched a lady's purse at the mall, and then somehow he was unable to outrun the cops in his Geo Metro. He thought he had it made. As soon as he got behind the wheel of that Geo Metro with that lady's purse under his arm, he thought, well, I'm home free.
I wanted one of those back in the day, actually.
But somehow he was unable to outrun the cops in his Geo Metro.
Oh, my gosh.
Did that stop his life of crime? Was that the wake-up call he needed?
That's the last I heard of his crime spree. I haven't heard good things overall about him since, but that's the last I heard of his career as a purse snatcher.
A 51-year-old school principal skip-scanned his way from the classroom to the courtroom after being caught stealing from a Walmart self-checkout. Police in Florida were called to Walmart about 1:30 p.m. Saturday after a store asset protection employee told them Gregory Lewis, principal at Bach Academy North, was seen pretending to scan items while sneaking others past the checkout, called skip scanning.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
When confronted, he told officers some of his friends had used the same trick before, so he figured he'd give it a shot. He also admitted it wasn't his first time doing it. He pulled the same move at the same store in the past. This time, he made off with a pack of light bulbs, bacon, and a frozen package of butterfly shrimp.
Body cam video shows Bach Academy principal Gregory Lewis being walked out of the store in handcuffs. The school says Lewis has been put on administrative leave pending a review.
Come on, that's friggin' embarrassing as hell.
Yep. Especially his excuse, all my friends are doing it.
What are you, 11 years old or something? And he gets a bucket of butterfly shrimp and a few
bacon, light bulbs, propelled them all up his pooper.
I'm surprised he was arrested for this because a lot of times they will watch these people and wait until they've stolen so much that it puts them over a certain limit because then they can charge them with a higher charge.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
That's some diabolical scheming right there.
That's smart.
When confronted by police, Lewis said, "I did something dumb today."
Yeah, you did, man.
That was really, really dumb.
I don't know if I could ever be a skip scanner. Those 8th graders there keep a pretty good eye on you at my favorite grocery store.
Yeah. Cameras, whatnot.
Oh, I didn't even think about the cameras. But
yeah, they're like right there on the self-checkout.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
even though I'm not doing anything wrong, I get nervous when I'm doing it. Like they're going to yell at me.
I'm like, you know how, like if you get pulled over, you're very aware of showing the cops your hands.
Yes.
I'm the same way where I'm scanning. It's like I'm pantomiming scanning, making sure everyone can see. He's clearly scanning.
You ever do that? You make a big deal out of like, I'm grabbing the receipt.
Oh, yeah.
I paid for these things.
Exactly. A 20-year-old woman who falsely accused a man of attempting to assault and kidnap her in a supermarket parking lot will now serve jail time for the lie that nearly ruined his life. The 41-year-old man she falsely accused spent 31 days in jail before authorities determined he'd done nothing wrong. Not only did this targeted false report impact the victim and his family in unimaginable ways, but there's also a profound ripple effect, said the district attorney. A crime like this can shatter the community's confidence in the system. It can jeopardize prosecutions of real sexual violence. The prosecution and sentence of this defendant show this won't be tolerated, he said. Last April, the woman told police she'd been attacked outside the supermarket. She claimed the man pulled down her pants, punched her in the face, and tried to drag her away. At the time, she had a visible cut on her lip, seemingly backing up her story. But as investigators dug deeper, reviewing surveillance footage from nearby businesses and analyzing her phone data, her story began to unravel. Footage showed no sign of the alleged attack. Her timeline didn't add up, and when confronted, she confessed there had never been an assault.
Oh, for the love of Christ.
She admitted she'd fabricated the entire story, choosing the man at random because she saw him and thought he looked creepy.
Police traced the man down and arrested him in front of his wife and kids. He spent a month in jail before detectives questioned inconsistencies in her story. She then admitted she had never met him.
What have you done, lady?
How do you get there?
What have you done?
Also, he looked creepy when he was with his wife and his children.
As for her injury, she later revealed it came from a separate incident. Her grandmother, who suffers from dementia, didn't recognize her and threw an object that hit her lip.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, there is some comedy to this.
Yeah.
In this case, she targeted an innocent man and accused him of one of the worst crimes someone can be accused of, said the chief deputy district attorney. I'm incredibly grateful for the work of law enforcement to uncover the truth, but it doesn't change the fact this man spent 31 days in a cell for a crime he didn't commit. The charges against the man were eventually dropped, and now the woman who fabricated the accusations will serve time.
How long?
It's going to be about 35 days.
Oh, it should be way more than that.
I agree.
You friggin' idiot. And
the guy did nothing. He's trying to go grocery shop.
And we'll say it again, won't we, Josh? The real damage here is that there are people in his hometown who will never believe that he's innocent.
Right.
Once you get that label, there are people who are going to stick with it until the day that he dies. There are people who are going to cross the sidewalk when he's coming, and he didn't do a damn thing. I had one more thought, and I maybe have lost it.
Well, on the flip side, people are going to be way more skeptical of victims as well. Like real victims now are going to have to fight harder to, have people believe.
Sure. I remember where I was going to go next. Wonderful that this was straightened out. Don't get me wrong. But if you're this guy, how do you keep your cool? How do you keep from going to her house and knocking everybody on their ass after what you've been put through? Good for him that, if he's able to.
He's going to sue, right?
Okay, that's an idea too. Sue her. I don't know.
I mean, what price could you put on 31 days in jail that you didn't earn?
And like Nick said, the ruining of your reputation. I mean, your kids might even look at you funny. I mean, you think the cops arrest you to put you in jail? Well, he's probably guilty.
F me. This one that kind of stuff, it makes me furious.
Yeah, me too. An Australian judge blasted a 23-year-old ex-baggage handler as vain and stupid after he filmed himself working out shirtless inside a moving jet engine.
How do you even do that?
I mean, this guy's just waiting for Darwin to take over.
Well, you can find out on 93x.com, Nick.
I have to look at, I can't picture how that
So he's
happened.
in front of the blades, basically. Picture the engine.
Okay.
Right? The clip, which was filmed just last year but posted in January to mark his resignation from the airport job, shows the man doing push-ups and flexing just inches from the spinning turbine blades. Titled, Quick Pump Before Flight, the video quickly made the rounds on social media and caught the attention of police. Authorities later found 5 more similar videos on his phone, all showing him on or near the aircraft engines. In one case, he painted himself green like the Hulk. He did it for social media attention, his lawyer admitted, and maybe he shouldn't have, because that set the judge off. He called the wannabe fitness influencer stupid, vain, and irresponsible, adding he knew exactly what he was doing when filming and posting that video. He took off his shirt, removed his security badges, and deliberately staged the shot.
What is wrong with this guy? I'm watching the video. What the hell is wrong with this guy?
He was trying to gain a huge following, is what his lawyer said.
Jesus.
He's a gym bro.
It was irresponsible, calculated, and dangerous, said the judge. He chose the wrong day, the wrong thing to do, and the wrong souvenir.
Showboating inside a Boeing turbine. Was it worth the pump?
Thank God the engine wasn't on.
I think it was a fair outcome. I understand what the magistrate was saying. Obviously, you want to protect the community.
I love the fact that she asked him if it was worth the pump. Again, it was called Quick Pump Before Flight. The stunt earned him a $1,500 fine and also cost him an apprenticeship with a construction company, effectively stalling his career before it even got off the ground.
I'll be damned.
That little interviewer sounds adorable.
Oh, she was a cute little number for sure. A 41-year-old woman at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International stripped mid-argument this week, joining a growing trend of in-flight and in-airport undressings. In videos filmed by a bystander and widely shared on social media, the topless woman, wearing only white underwear, black shoes, and shiny hoop earrings, paced around Spirit Airlines Gate G12. The topless traveler seemed to be arguing with a man who tried to return the clothes she'd taken off. Fellow passengers, unsure whether to intervene or applaud, mostly averted their eyes as she shouted and gestured wildly, trying to make a point which couldn't be heard in the videos. Earlier this year, authorities apprehended a 33-year-old man who was filmed strolling unclothed and inebriated through another terminal at the same airport.
If it's Spirit, this just sounds like people trying to save on carry-on fees, right?
Yeah, a lot of people making fun of Spirit Airlines. Like, I was reading some of the comments. It was pretty funny. I've never flown Spirit Airlines, but they get hammered pretty good in comments, I'll tell you that much. Now streaming on Prime Video, a new supernatural horror series called The Bondsman.
Oh, no.
Kevin Bacon plays a resurrected bounty hunter who gets an unexpected second chance at life, only to discover his old job now has a demonic new twist. On Netflix, adapted from the video game of the same name, a professional demon hunter named Dante seeks vengeance against sinister forces for the death of his family in Devil May Cry. Also on Netflix, the Season 3 premiere of Jurassic World Chaos Theory.
Look out for that Jurassic World Chaos Theory.
Former Skid Row legend who sang Youth Gone Wild, Sebastian Bach, is 57. Current comedy legend who sang Boogie in Your Butt, Eddie Murphy, 64.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Jackrabbit Jesus texts a happy birthday to his middle guy, turning 35. Happy sweet 16th to Peyton from Mom and Dad. Happy 28th birthday to Ball Bag Jesus from your future wife, Cheese Machine Jesus. And that's 93X News.
Care 11's Randy Shaver.
On the half-assed morning show.
Strom coordinating Ovechkin. One time, he scores! The chase is as easy as 1, 2, 3 now.
Oh, man, what am I doing here? Oh, yeah, right. And now I know what that audio was. Ovechkin is now 3 away from the record. He sniped another one last night. He's up to 892. Good morning, Randy Shaver, and by damn Brad Ryder.
Oh, good morning. Brad Ryder's with us?
Oh, what day is it?
Today's Thursday.
Yeah, sorry. No Brad Ryder.
I did not call Brad. So.
In case Brad's listening.
I forgot what day it is. It's Thursday, so it's just Randy. Is that okay? It's just you, Randy?
It's fine. Sure.
Ovechkin scored another one. There you go. You're closer and closer to
He's getting there. Yeah.
Twins and Astros first pitch today at Target Field around 3:30. She's the home opener, Randy.
Is it going to happen?
I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on the skies, as you folks say in the television business, the meteorology.
I don't know about it. Is it supposed to even have more rain today, or is it just colder and they have to clear the field and the stands and all that?
Do you have Belinda Jensen's cell phone number?
I don't know.
According to Google, we're not supposed to get any more rain today, and we have a high of 42. So,
well, they'll play at 42.
How cold does it have to be for them to change?
I've never heard of a game being called on the count of cold.
Yeah. I guess I haven't.
Or maybe I have and I've forgotten about it.
Yeah, normally it doesn't get too terrible this time of year. It's usually the worst you're going to see is probably high 20s, 30s, and they'll play.
The number one concern is the condition of the ball field.
It is right. It's whether or not it's dry.
Yeah, they don't care if the boys are freezing their nuts off out there. So I think so. It's going to be around 40 degrees. Hell, I've been to a couple 40-degree openers, and we'll live.
Yeah.
So that'll be very exciting. We'll get to that. We'll get to a little bit of stuff involving the home opener here in a minute.
And they play day games early like this because it's warmer during the day. That's why they don't play at night.
That is a very accurate statement.
So
on Randy Shaver.
I think 3 o'clock today is supposed to be like 43 degrees. So
I remember
the warmest part of the day.
I remember a couple of those colder home openers now. Target Field's been around for how long? 15 years?
Oh, longer than that, hasn't it?
I thought it was 2010.
That sounds right to me. I'll look it up.
Okay.
Unbelievable. It's been 15 years already.
Yeah.
That we've been watching ball games at Target Field. But I remember
2010.
2010 was the opening.
Wow, it feels like it's been longer.
Yeah, it does.
It does. I remember a couple of the colder openers where a lot of folks gutted out 4 innings, and then you find a large amount of the crowd in the bars. You know what I mean? The feet get cold, the fingers get cold, and everyone turns to binge drinking in the heated bars within Target Field.
I think it also depends where you're sitting in the stadium. If you have sunshine on you, you can probably stay there longer. Mm-hmm. But once the sun goes away and you're sitting in the shade in weather like this, it's just too much.
It is.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I went to a game last year, and it was about 40 degrees or so, and my fiance was complaining the whole time because he's not a huge baseball fan in the first place, so he was just in a bad mood. But every time like a cloud would move and the sun would hit, you could hear everybody go, "Oh, yeah."
Absolutely.
That third baseline in the summer can get brutal. You and I have gone a few games, Nick, and
horrible.
There. Oh man! I mean, it's like, and then you get these weird suntan lines on your legs and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I had a 20, 25 game season ticket package at Target Field for quite a few years in a row, and I made a point to pick seats in the shade, under an overhang in the lower level, because in July and August I cannot just sit there cooking in the sun.
Oh, it gets so hot.
Those bitches who sit on the third base side in July and August, there's some tough bastards.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But some people love that stuff. They want all the sun they can.
Right.
Dana is on his honeymoon with his latest wife. Filling in on the board this morning is our program director, Derek. Now, we were talking earlier, Derek, you're from Atlanta, Georgia. What do you think about a 40-degree home opener? Are you there or are you not there?
There's no way I'm there. No way.
I remember when you first started here and, driving in the snow was not something you were practiced at before you came here.
No, but, I did go to that Winter Classic game a few years ago that was minus 10.
Dude, you went to that?
Yeah.
Pigs and Blues?
Yep.
Yeah. Brutally cold?
I made it about a quarter. I literally, people's beers were literally freezing out there, and I was like, okay, maybe this might be too much.
So what, you did one period?
One period, yeah.
One period, you went home.
I said quarter. That tells you my hockey.
Right. State of hockey, my ass. This is Derek's one of the reasons why the state of hockey isn't what it used to be. He comes into town talking about quarters instead of periods.
Right.
Now, that gets me thinking about that disaster of an NFC playoff game that the Vikings played against Seattle a number of years ago where it was 25
at the Gopher Stadium?
Right.
Yeah.
Where folks said they ordered themselves a Steve Weiser, they popped the top, they put it between their feet to watch a few plays, they look down, and it's frozen solid.
It's a slushy, yep.
40-degree home opener, we can handle it.
Yeah.
It appears things might be beginning to even out a little bit for the Twins now, Randy.
They're tied for first place.
Everybody's tied for first place in the American League
They're
Central.
the only team in the Central with on a winning streak.
Yes, they've won 2 in a row. Everyone in the division is at 2-4, which is very exciting.
Yes.
When everyone is 2-4. But, they should take 2 out of 3 from the Chicago White Sox every time. And after winning yesterday, that's exactly what they accomplished. They win 6-1. They take 2 of 3. This new kid, Harrison Bader, hit another dong. Buck went yard. Pablo Lopez makes a solid start. Now, they've got a tough club coming to town now in Houston. But I imagine, Randy, you're feeling a little bit better about this ball club's outlook.
I am, and the Astros are good, but they're not what they used to be either. So I think the Twins will match up pretty well today. I mean, they got good production yesterday from Buxton, who hit a home run for him, his first of the year. And as you said, Bader also homered yesterday. I mean, I love the fact in the cold weather that Pablo pitches almost 100 pitches yesterday, 7 strong. I think they're heading in the right direction. It just takes a little bit of time, and hopefully the excitement of opening day at home will juice them up today to play even better. So
sure,
off to a good start.
Eastbound at sundown, Jesus has texted in. Eastbound at sundown, Jesus has texted in, and he says, after hearing you, Derek, and the way you slaughtered that hockey conversation, he says, now we know why the Atlanta Thrashers no longer exist.
They weren't paying attention?
Yes.
Did you ever go see the Atlanta Thrashers, which now are the Winnipeg Jets, if I'm not mistaken?
Not one time.
Not once?
Not one time.
You didn't want to go see Ray Ferraro and Andrew Brunette out there play on a line together?
Ilya Kovalchuk was the dude, right?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
He recently retired, by the way, I think. Ilya Kovalchuk. Yeah. He was a star player down there, I think.
Never saw him.
He never saw it. The Atlanta Thrashers. What about when you were a kid, the Atlanta Flames?
Yeah, never saw them either.
Jimmy Craig played netminder. He probably doesn't even know who Jimmy Craig is.
I know who Jimmy Craig is.
You know who Jim Craig is?
Yes.
The Atlanta Thrashers, or pardon me, Flames back in the day, who eventually, of course, moved to Calgary. Joe Ryan pitching today, Randy, for the Twins against a feller by the name of Hunter Brown.
Yep, Hunter Brown's really good. Good young pitcher. Yeah, should be a good matchup on the mound.
40-degree home opener on Twins TV, by the way. Yep. Everybody, Twins TV. What else did I have? Does anyone, Randy Shaver, or anyone involved, do you have any fond memories of past home openers, I should say, past home openers?
Well, for me, they all kind of blend together.
Yeah.
When I covered sports, Brad Radke was such a steadying influence for the Twins for season openers.
Yes.
And I'm sure there was a few home openers involved in there too.
Yeah.
That stands out to me. I mean, there's always, the introduction of all the players.
Sure.
There's a lot of pomp and circumstance for the home opener. I don't know how much they'll do today because of the weather, but I'm sure there'll be quite a bit.
Oh, so. I imagine they're going to go through. They're going to Cubby gets he gets a little teary when the flyovers happen.
They're giving away Twins beanies, too, so they can keep you nice and warm.
Who doesn't want a free Twins beanie?
They always give the best stuff away at the opener.
It's because they want you to come back, Ashley.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we'll do something like this every time, totally.
Right.
Are they do the breakfast usually on the plaza?
Breakfast, that's happening. There's usually a little more oomph when it comes time for the anthem.
Yeah.
At the home opener, and like I mentioned, Josh, he and I have held hands more than a couple times when the flyover happens.
It's the best.
I've told you before, to the day I die, I'll never forget the 1900. Randy, I'm sure you were there. The 1988 home opener.
The year after they won the World Series.
So the first, the first game at the Metrodome since winning the World Series for the very first time. They played the Toronto Blue Jays. My dad and my brother and I went to that game, and it was... See, I wasn't lucky enough to go to any of the games during the 87 World Series.
Yeah.
Or the 91 World Series. I didn't have a pot to piss in. Yeah. So I didn't get to experience that insane level of noise at either of those World Series. But at that 88 home opener, the crowd was so effing drunk and pumped to holler for the Twins again.
To be quite honest, I think the celebration from the end of the 87 season continued through the winter.
Yeah.
I can remember spring training of 88, how excited everybody was that baseball was back. I mean, normally there's a decent amount of excitement when February rolls around and that baseball's not that far away. But that year, there was just a ton of excitement for 88. Of course, they did not have a great year in 88, but you're right. Opening day was pretty spectacular.
I thought they had a better record in 88 than they did in 87, but the Oakland Athletics were so good that year.
They were so good, yeah.
Twins had I think they had a better record in 88 than that, but this is a long time ago. But
but remember, their record in 87 wasn't that great.
But still,
they were barely over 500.
Yeah,
They won all their games at home.
Right.
That was the storyline.
And lost 75% of their road games. Yeah.
That's right. And even in 91, that was the storyline too. They won all their games at home.
Oh, now listeners are saying, wait a minute, I thought you caught Kirby's home run ball in 91 in Game 6 off of Charlie Leibrandt. Yeah, I caught that ball, but I wasn't at the game. But anyway.
How are people missing? That's what makes it so impressive.
I wasn't even at the game, and I caught that ball.
You've never gotten credit for that.
See, now, Derek grew up, like we said, in Atlanta. We already had one argument this morning about the 91 World Series. He hates the 91 World Series because you were in Atlanta at the time cheering for the Braves.
Sure. Well, and you got to remember, too, right, that the Braves also went worst to first.
Yes,
right?
they did.
Had been
so did the
terrible for 2 decades.
Well, he's aware of that, yeah.
This was the most exciting Braves team probably of my whole life, and just to have the season ruined by Kent Herbeck's chicanery.
Yeah. Chicanery.
Come on. Just
Was there a bit of a kerfuffle?
There were some shenanigans.
He pulled Ron Gant off the
He did
bag.
not pull Ron Gant's leg off.
He
the
lifted the man up
He
and
did
tagged him out. How was it legal?
not.
It was dirty.
I'll
Randy,
never understand it.
You know, we knew we had a good boss when this topic came up on the air when Derek first started, and we came in the next day, and he had a poster of the event.
Yes.
Right in our studio.
The moment when Herbeck pulled Gant off the bag, Derek had a poster of that moment. On
Gant's momentum took him off that bag. Yes.
I think
but his momentum seemed to have a lot to do with Ken Herbeck's arms.
Yeah.
Isn't there a Gant rap you're aware of, Nick?
Gant?
Gant.
Oh,
Goes like
Gant.
that?
Pop. Yeah, I forgot all about that. Embrace the filth of that play, Randy Shaver. It was dirty what Herbeck did. Embrace
No, it wasn't.
It was filthy what he did.
Super clean.
And I love
Great
everything
play.
about it.
That's why the guy should have won Gold Gloves at first base.
Oh my gosh, I just watched the video for the first time, and yeah, it might be on your side, Derek. What the heck?
Thank you.
I mean, I can respect it, but what the heck?
Randy is going, still to this day, Randy's going by the ruling of first place umpire Harvey Wendelstedt.
That's right.
He's going with what Harvey,
The momentum took him off the bag.
In 88, the crowd was so out of their mind to welcome the Twins back to the old Metrodome. And I'll say it again. In that game, while Herbeck is up to the plate, Dan Gladden stole home plate. And it was the loudest roar of a crowd that I had ever experienced up to that point in my life. And if you watch the replay to this day, again, Herbeck's up to the plate, Gladden is stealing home, and you can watch Herbeck in slow motion mouth the words, "What the fuck?" You can see he was totally surprised, and Gladden was safe at home, and my brother and my dad and I just wet our pants. And then the guy fell off the bleachers and broke his arm. Remember that story, Josh?
No. The guy that you were sitting next to.
Yeah,
Yes.
seventh inning
Yes.
stretch. Some drunk a couple rows in front of us is dancing, and he turns his back to the field, and so now he's dancing for the crowd, and he's absolutely hammered. And we're loving this, seventh inning stretch, whatever. They're playing some tunes, and the guy goes ass over apple cart, falls backwards, gets his arm caught in between a couple of chairs, and it broke his arm.
Oh.
Yeah, my brother and I stood up and said, "Ah! Get out of here, you bastard!" No one was very kind to that man.
Did he get up and make a show to the crowd?
No, he was in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
He was like the Atlanta Hawks fan yesterday.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the Twins could use a Dan Gladden. There hasn't been an instigator in the lineup for the Twins like that in a long time. He was so good at the leadoff spot. He was so good at putting pressure on pitchers.
Yeah. He was a hell of a player.
I mean, Jock Jones was a great leadoff guy for the Twins during his time here.
I mean, Luis Ariz was a pretty damn
Luis Ariz, yeah, but not to, for me anyway, not to the level that Dan Gladden was.
I hear you. That's tough to top.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Gladden that trade that they made to bring him over here really set the table for a lineup that was waiting for someone to fill that role. And it was one of the best moves Andy McPhail ever made as a GM was to bring Dan Gladden here.
Which team did he come from? Go.
Giants.
That's right, San Francisco Giants.
Yeah.
He was no Otis Nixon, I'll tell you that much.
Hey, we liked Otis here,
We
too.
liked Otis. He was here.
We had Otis here, too, for a while. Handsome guy, too, wasn't he, Otis
Yes.
Nixon? My God, was he a face man.
He was fast,
Otis Nixon. And then, of course, I'll always remember the very first home opener at Target Field. I will.
Yeah.
That was so wonderful. I still love that ballpark so much.
Yeah.
But it was just such a we waited a long time, it seemed to me at least.
Well,
we waited a long time, and it was every bit worth the wait.
Yes. And if you're old enough to recall what that piece of land looked like before Target Field, which it used to be a big parking lot, where you would look at that and go, there's no way they can build a baseball stadium in this in this spot. Just how are they going to do that? And the fact that they built this beautiful ballpark in that space, I think that's what makes it even more special. Is that if you were to look at it previous to that, you would go, "There's no way. There's just no way." And it's turned out to be one of the best ballparks in Major Leagues.
Yeah, you wouldn't have thought they would have made such a beautiful park where this shady parking lot. Josh used to go there for HJs after hours in that parking lot.
I gave a lot of them back in the day.
Oh, my God.
Oh, you meant the other one.
Dill pickle pizza, walleye tacos, and shawarma will be among the new foods at Target Field. What is shawarma?
Well, I don't know how to describe it. You can get it like at a Dino's or something like that. It's like a chicken shawarma.
It's like a Middle Eastern dish, right?
Oh, it's a dish. You eat it.
Like a flavoring on it.
Nick, you're not talking about the best new edition.
Oh, no. Again, Ashley, this isn't my first operation around here. I know I'm saving the best for last.
I bet you know exactly what I'm talking about. We've bonded over this.
Yes. This year you can get a stinking Spam burger.
Heck yeah.
At Target Field, and I love Spam.
They look so good, too. I was looking at pictures of them. They look delicious.
Oh, is it the same folks that have been doing the fair?
I'm not too sure about that.
Because good for them if they've landed a gig at Target Field. Randy Shaver, Spam, you used to live in the town.
I grew up on it.
Yeah.
I worked in Austin, Minnesota.
Right.
Where it was Hormel, not Hormel.
Hormel.
That's how they pronounce it in Austin.
I had no idea.
It's Hormel. But I grew up on Spam. My dad made Spam every weekend morning, basically for breakfast. So
we had a lot of Spam too. My dad, it was my dad's favorite food, that and White Castle.
I used to absolutely hate it because of watching my dad cook it. Because you just flip over the can and it makes that noise.
Your dad's two favorite foods were Spam and White Castle. Did your parents sleep in separate bedrooms?
Well, you didn't eat White Castle too often, and also those like around Christmas, those meat and cheese packs. I forgot what they're called. That you could get like at a kiosk.
Shawarma, they call it.
No, it's not shawarma.
Oh.
I can tell you that much.
Hillshire Farms?
Yes. Yes, exactly.
There you go.
All right, it's going to be an exciting day today, the home opener. Have fun, everybody. Boston Red Sox hitter Rafael Devers finally got his first hit of the season yesterday after really stinking the place up through the first handful of ball games.
And a line right base hit into right field. Rafi with his first hit of the season. It keeps on going. Into third now trying to score is Rafaela. Here's a play at the plate. High throw. He's safe at home. And Rafi Devers finally in the hit column.
So he got an RBI out of the deal, too. Okay.
Yeah.
He had really been awful. Through the first 5 games, he was 0 for 19 with 15 strikeouts.
I know. Crazy.
That's great.
He's such a good player, too. It's so not him because he's really a great hitter.
Here's a listener texted in saying he's going to the opener today. We were just talking about this. Please tell me you're kidding. Listener says he's going to the opener and he's going to go for the 999 hot dog beers gimmick.
Oh, hopefully you don't have to work tomorrow.
Hopefully you don't have to work tomorrow, Ashley says, which means 9 beers, 9 wieners, and 9 innings of baseball.
You could probably pull that off before the pitch clock, but now.
Yeah. You prayed for a lot of pitching changes.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
I don't think I can handle the beers, but I might be able to do one hot dog an inning.
I absolutely bet you could.
Well, I don't know, Cubby.
Back in the day, 100% I could. I bet I still could. The beers would kill me.
You get me a couple of tickets. We won't make you drink beer. You're not a drinker. You get us a pair of tickets. I'll buy all your wiener. I'm buying wien, and let's see. You can drink your Pepsi or water or whatever. I would like to see if you can do it. We'll have to do it on a Friday or Saturday because I'm not sitting in the same studio with you.
Just Kobayashi it. Kobayashi.
Just fast as you can
in there.
I can't do that.
Just dunk it and go.
I know you can put away food. You can. I'd like
which is odd because he's not a big guy.
No.
Well, that's not odd. See, all the big eaters I know are undersized people.
Yeah, I suppose.
So I would love to see you try it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's way more difficult than I'm picturing, but it seems like I'm assuming they're just normal size hot dogs, or am I incorrect on that?
On Dollar Dog Night, they're normal size, yeah, because that's when we'll likely do it on a Dollar Dog Night. Yeah, they're normal. They're not the Tommy Lee gimmick.
You don't want to break the bank if you're going to try.
FXT Jesus said he did 7 last year.
Wow.
How did he feel?
I felt like a sack of S afterwards.
I'll bet.
Well, I've told the story before about my old beer league softball buddies who would have wing-offs. It wasn't a race, but they would just sit together, drinking beer after the ball game was over and see how many wings they could eat from this delicious joint that's no longer in operation anymore, Lone Spur, off of Hopkins Crossroads.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Hopkins Crossroads, and what is that anyway? Right by where the old cheapskate used to be.
Yep.
Lone Spur, love those people. Our beer league softball club went there every Thursday for 20 friggin' years. And their wings were terrific. And so these two teammates of mine would see how many wings they could eat. No hurry, just how many you can eat in a night. And, the final scores were things like 52 to 49. It was just obscene how many wings these guys could eat. And one of them said the next day was worse than any hangover he ever had. So it's going to have an effect on you, Josh.
Yeah, I've done that where I've eaten myself to the point where I was very enraged at what I did to myself.
You're mad at yourself? What do you think, everybody, and this has been, how do I say this? This has been in the works for years. Baseball players, the way they wear their pants now. The pants are higher and higher and higher up. Now, there was a pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates yesterday by the name of Dennis Santana who more or less looked like he was wearing shorts because of how high he rolled his pants up to the middle of his thigh.
Yeah, those were the first articles on it were saying, hey, he wore shorts. You can't do that. But yeah, you're right. He just rolled his pants up.
Just rolls his pants up. I mean, a lot of guys still wear the pants all the way down to the ankle, but more and more have been rolling them up to the knee and then beyond the knee up to the middle. This guy was being made fun of for more or less wearing shorts on the bump yesterday.
Good. He looks ridiculous out there.
You don't like that look?
Good.
I like when they've got the socks showing, so the pants are pulled up to right below their knee.
Right below the knee.
Okay.
Look.
That's the way it should be.
That's the
best.
All
right, so Ashley, you should get on Google and Google the Chicago White Sox uniforms from the 80s?
I think it was like 76, 77.
Yeah, Google that, where they wore shorts.
They just looked like a softball team.
Yep. They wore shorts.
Gross. I hate that.
Yep.
Here's something. What year was it? Was it 76?
That's what I looked up, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's what a lot of folks overlook from that White Sox team who decided, well, they didn't decide. Someone working for their organization decided they're going to wear shorts and socks pulled up to their knees. These guys had raspberries up and down their legs. It was horrible.
Yeah.
The thing that everyone forgets is not only were they wearing black shorts and white tops, but they had collared shirts.
Yeah, they look so goofy. It almost looks like the collar is printed on.
Am I correct? They had collared shirts.
Yeah.
Stupid. Yeah. Why they went that direction. So anyway, I've seen other players who are rolling their pants up higher and higher.
Yeah, but the uniforms in sports have changed so much. I mean, look at football now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, nobody wears knee pads or any of that kind of protection anymore.
It's spandex. It's just spandex
It's
pants.
basically spandex.
Yeah.
And, of course, basketball uniforms have changed dramatically from the time of the short shorts to the long shorts to whatever they are now. So
that's probably good.
Back to short.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, basically back to the short.
Now they got the short shorts again.
When I played softball, when I first started out, we wore shorts, and then we would have to wear sliding shorts under the shorts and then the knee pads and everything. It was the best time ever when I finally hit that age range where we got pants. I felt so much more official and so much more legit in those. I don't know why people would prefer to wear shorts.
Josh, a listener, texted in saying he did the 9 beers, 9 wieners in 9 innings last year, and his boss felt so bad for him the next day, his boss let him sleep it off in the car.
That's awesome.
Just go out to your car, Get some sleep.
Could you do? Well, never mind. I forgot who I was at. I was going to ask if you could do 9 beers in 9 innings, but I'd imagine that probably wouldn't be that difficult for you.
Oh, I would feel it.
Oh, I bet you would.
I would feel it much more today than I would have even 5-10 years ago. But sure, I could do 9 beers in 9 innings, but I would not be well the next morning.
Would that be
10 years ago, I would have been fine with that.
Would that be a warm-up for Big Al, or?
Oh, are you kidding me? It's absolutely a warm-up.
Josh, I believe you told us this before, but what is the most food you ate in one sitting?
13 mammoth muffins from Perkins and a half-gallon of frozen yogurt.
Oh, my God.
On a dare.
Most folks say pizza, wings, cheeseburgers, but you were eating
these
muffins.
Are what I was dared to eat, and my friends got to pick out the muffins, right? So there was 4 brand ones in there. They weren't very good to me, that's for sure.
Just a dare.
Yeah, it was a dare.
I've often wondered what teenage kids that didn't drink were up to.
That's
you know
what
I mean?
Yeah. Spending our allowance on muffins and whatnot.
Here's a high school pitcher who threw 102 miles per hour. The internet's been talking about this kid. High school pitcher who threw 102 miles per hour. Josh thought this was notable. His name is Jack Bauer, and he wears 24 on the back of his jersey.
That's got to be on purpose, right?
I don't know.
I mean, maybe it's a coincidence, but...
He's a high school kid. Do you think he even knows that television show?
I'm sure people have probably told him his whole life, Jack Bauer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Maybe his parents even named him after the character.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
Gosh, you scared the heck out of me with that audio.
Oh, sorry.
Jack Bauer.
I was obsessed with that show.
Our math teacher in high school made us watch a couple episodes of that.
Never saw it.
Oh, really?
No.
I don't know if you'd like it or not. You like Kiefer Sutherland, though, right?
Well, I like when he portrays Doc Scurlock.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah. In the documentary Young Guns 1 or Young Guns 2. We're going to finish the game, is what he said. No, wait a minute. I'm mixing quotes. I just mixed up the quote from the Cowboys with John Wayne and Young Guns 2. He says, Billy, let's finish the game. And that's when I begin to cry because I know that Doc is about to die in the movie. Randy, same for you?
I never saw it.
You don't know what I'm talking about. Never saw it. How do you not? Young Guns 1 and 2. Never saw it?
Never saw it.
I thought you were an American citizen.
I bet you'd like those movies. Gamer Jesus said his ex did 9 wieners in 9 innings, but it wasn't at a Twins game.
Son of a bitch. How did we not see that approaching?
Well, like I said earlier about a different topic, my mom has been texted in quite a few times on this, on how many she could take and how many innings.
People have been texting in on sports fashion since we started talking about the pants being rolled up, and then we talked about the White Sox wearing shorts. Remember this listener says, remember the long breezers. State of hockey, my ass. They were called Cooperalls. Yes, of course I remember the Cooperalls. There were a handful of NHL teams that wore pants on the ice. And that even bled into our youth hockey when we were kids. There were a couple of teams in my hometown that wore the Cooperalls. They were silly and stupid, and they did not last long. Speaking of hockey, for once, scoring wasn't a problem for the Pigs, but it was also just as easy for the opposition. In New York City last night, the boys dropped one to the Rangers in overtime by a final of 5-4.
Again, though, they pick up a point.
Yeah.
And that keeps them in a decent position. They're tied with St. Louis for the last 2 wild card spots, but they're still 7 points ahead of Calgary.
That sounds right to me.
So,
7 points.
At this point, you just want to, if all you have to do is pick up a point each night, then fine.
Probably going to be all right. Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to get in the top 3 of their division. They're going to be a wild card team. They're going to have to fight like hell to get through the first round. You know that's coming. So.
Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a deal. It's going to be tough, but you're right. If they can just kind of maybe snag a point here or there, they should be all right.
But if they get Kaprizov back and they get a little bit more healthy, anything's possible. So,
God,
he's been out so long. I mean, it's been tough.
Kind of makes you wonder if they should pay him the big bucks after all.
Oh.
Who said that?
Wasn't me, I can tell you that.
Did someone just question whether or not the Pigs should pay the Russian kid the big bucks?
I heard that.
I heard a voice. See, now this isn't fair. This isn't friggin' fair. I bring up the documentaries Young Gun 1, and now everyone's sending in their favorite quotes, and I can't help it. You guys see the size of that chicken? Billy, you are not a god. Why don't you pull the trigger and find out? Sorry, I can't help myself. People send in quotes from Young Guns. I have to say them out loud. Next up for the Pigs, they'll be at... they got to face Billy Smith and Ken Morrow and Mike Bossy and the New York Islanders tomorrow night. So I think what I read yesterday, Randy Shaver, is that Alex Rodriguez and Jennifer Lopez are about to become the new Timberwolves owners.
Yes, they are.
For real skis. It's about to become official.
Yeah, Mark Lohr and A-Rod will be the official owners, the majority owners, without any restrictions.
Yeah.
And Glenn Taylor, after 31 years, will bow out as Timberwolves owner. And I know there's mixed emotions about Glenn, and I get that. But I was there the day that this team was going to be sold down the river to New Orleans and had a news conference where Harv and Marv were ready to sell the club.
Yeah.
And Glenn Taylor stepped in and saved basketball and kept it in Minnesota. And you can say what you want about Glenn. I get it. There's a lot of people that aren't fans. I understand.
Right.
But give the guy at least a little bit of credit that he did save this franchise from leaving town.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I got no problem with Glenn Taylor. I wish him well.
I think there's new enthusiasm though with A-Rod and Mark Lohr. I think that that's a big deal for fans. I think they're going to be excited about it. And I think, again, this conversation about KG coming back and all that could do for the excitement level, I think is legit too. It sure would be nice to see that jersey hanging in Target Center.
Oh, yeah, and just to see him wandering around, what do you call it, the arena? And
I guess I question a little bit, Nick, how much he really will be a part of the organization. He may be. I don't know. He seems to have a very successful deal going with his podcast and talking about basketball and
didn't we all kind of agree that he would just be the there was a big word somebody used.
I think they want
an ambassador.
Yeah, I think it may be a little bit more than that though too. I mean,
whatever gig he wants to take, he's welcome to.
I would love to see him go on the floor during practice and pull guys aside and work with. I think that'd be incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But just the fact that he's back in Minnesota, gets his jersey retired, I think a lot of fans will be excited about that.
All that appears to be left for Alex Rodriguez and Jennifer Lopez is final approval by the NBA's Board of Governors.
And that's not going to be an issue. So not going to be an issue because Glenn Taylor is signed off. So it's not going to be an issue.
Hey, Randy. It ain't easy.
And by the way, Glenn Taylor bought the team for $94 million.
$94 million.
And sold it for $1.5 billion. So he also did pretty well too.
But also that's a couple months before the Celtics went for 6.
Yeah, but the Wolves were never going to be in that range. It's just they're never going to be in that range.
Right. 0 titles versus 35 championships.
But the Celtics don't have their own arena. The Suns went for 4. You could have got more than 1.5. I'm just saying.
They are calling it a bargain price.
Yeah, well, it's the same price as when they started negotiating 3 years ago. When all this started. So the price didn't change.
But the team has become more valuable.
Well, I'm sure it is.
Yes,
I'm sure it is. But they've stuck to the original price. So
It has apparently been confirmed, Randy Shaver. Here's where I kind of wish Brad Ryder was on the telephone because he can't stand it when we bring this kind of thing up. But apparently it has been confirmed. The Timberwolves' trade interest in the Durantula is mutual. Timberwolves.
Well, obviously, it's not going to happen this year.
No.
So it's an off-season deal.
That would be silly.
Obviously, they can't do it. It's an off-season deal. And so let's see how they, if they flop in the playoffs, then I think a lot of people might be open to it. I will say this. If they trade Jaden McDaniels, I'd be very disappointed.
Oh, no.
Because the guy is really starting to blossom into a fantastic player.
Yeah, I don't want to see him lose.
So
Jaden McDaniels. Oh. Timberwolves are at the Brooklyn Nets tonight.
Well, they better win that game.
Yeah, don't let us down with this one because the Brooklyn Nets are not a great basket. It's 6:30 tonight on that FanDuel setup. They play the Brooklyn Nets.
And, of course, every game means so much in this Western race right now. I mean, they have a chance to play themselves out of the play-in game if they can keep winning and have Memphis or Golden State lose a game or two down the stretch here.
And, they have, I think, 2 games with Brooklyn in the next couple of weeks. They play Philadelphia. They play some teams who are in real trouble.
Yeah, Philadelphia is they're playing their G League guys. I mean, they've kind of said, okay, we're done.
The JV guys. The NBA's investigating Ja Morant for a gun gesture he did on the court the other night.
This is up on 93X.
Technicals during the timeout. As the Warriors were going to the bench, Ja Morant had some form of gesture there. You can make that what you want. And then Buddy Hield kind of responded. So you have offsetting tees, no free throws.
I don't think it was that bad.
Yeah, but he's got a history. That's the problem.
That's the thing. It's a touchy situation.
Yeah,
because
he's got a history.
Yeah.
With actual guns, not
with actual.
At least it wasn't like the college kid, which I loved this video. The college kid that got down on the floor and pretended to be a sniper.
Oh, see, I was annoyed by that.
I loved it.
I'm not a fan of the bench kid during the college basketball tournament who won't settle down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every year you see 4 or 5 of them. That kid at the ass end of the bench who's way too enthusiastic over what's going on out there. If I were a starter on the opposite team, I would say, go back to the friggin' locker room. You serve no purpose here.
Yeah, but you have to understand, Nick, coaches, they care about that.
Yes,
if you listen to Gino Auriemma talk about what he looks for in players, the number one thing he looks for is how do you act when you're on the bench? Are you in the game?
Right.
Are you supporting your teammates?
Right.
Because if you're not going to do that, you're not going to play.
I understand all that. But there are some kids who take it too effing far.
I know, and they have routines, and they have. I get it.
It brings me back to one of my buddies when he was playing high school hockey. He was, he made the, he's one of these guys who would go usually JV, right? Usually JV.
Right.
But the coach finally called him up for one game to play on the varsity club. But the coach just sat him at the end of the bench. He didn't get on the ice. And finally there was like a fan from the other team who knocked on the glass and said, if you're not going to play, would you just go back to the locker room? You're kind of obstructing my view right now. So Ja Morant, sure, we all know his history of trouble with guns, and he tuned up a high school kid or whatever a couple years ago. So he's not a favorite son of the NBA right now. He's exchanging gun gestures with a member of the Golden State Warriors, and will he face trouble here? I don't know.
Which is just completely damaging to this Memphis team, which played really well early in the year. They're starting to fade just a little bit right now, but they need Ja Morant because Desmond Bane has been hurt off and on.
He's a great player.
Yeah, they're putting out some guys right now that are getting playing time that, probably wouldn't be getting that much time. And they fired their coach. I mean, their coach tried to, imagine having to herd that room of cats, every day and worrying about Ja Morant both on the court and off the court. It's a big job.
I read today that Taylor Jenkins' firing was about keeping Ja Morant happy.
Yeah.
He didn't like the guy.
Yeah.
I really like that kid. I do. He's a great player. And every once in a while I'll see an interview with him where he comes off like this completely reasonable young man. And then other times he acts like a jagoff. What are you going to do? He's young. He's got $1 billion. I don't know. Yep. What is this about LeBron James songs? What is this?
Yeah, people have been like on TikTok writing songs about.
They gave up AD because they needed change. Then you got to say his name. His name is LeBron James. I'm talking about the man on the Lakers, LeBron.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Once he was the first player to score 50,000 points, people just started, for whatever reason, writing all these songs.
They go online and they sing parody songs about LeBron James.
Correct.
Oh, it's not him singing.
No, he just found out about it. One of his kids told him. He wasn't aware it was even going on.
That's hilarious.
I'm talking about the guy on the Lakers. Are you kidding me?
I kind of like that.
They cracked me up a little bit too, Ashley.
Are you a LeBron fan, Derek?
I've got a lot of respect for LeBron, is what I would say.
Yeah. Do you have his tennis shoe? You're a big tennis shoe guy.
I do have, I used to hoop in a pair of LeBrons.
Do you have Michael Jordan tennis shoes?
Many. I'm wearing some right now, in fact.
Which is the better tennis shoe?
Well, I mean, there's so many more Jordans, but yeah, I mean, I'd say Jordans.
Who's the better player?
Oh, Jordan.
Have you ever purchased the signature shoe of a player who came and went? Like, do you have a what was the do you have a Greg Oden signature shoe or anything? Do you have any obscure player's signature?
Yes.
Who?
So definitely the most random signature player shoe I have a Rui Hachimura.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Why?
Also of the Lakers.
Also of the Lakers.
Who's a very good player.
Yeah, because they looked cool. They were like these, because he's Japanese, and they were like these like Japanese kind of samurai sort of themed shoes. Yeah.
Nice.
Did you know that about Derek, Randy? Filling in for Dana today.
I did not.
Our
no.
program director, Derek, is Dana's on his honeymoon. You didn't know? Yeah, he's a big tennis shoe guy.
Yeah. I got some Trae Youngs from the first season. I mean, I wouldn't say he came and went. He's still
Trae Young, yeah, he's a solid player.
he's
You
still
don't
around.
hear about him much because he plays in Atlanta. No offense.
Does Ant have his own shoe?
Yes, he does. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, my youngest plays basketball, and most kids out there have the A1s, I think they call them.
Is that what they call them?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's what they call them. There's a lot of them out there for sure.
Okay, this is one of the better ones, I think.
Oh, I had a signature shoe for quite a while, Randy Shaver. You probably wore them too. Chuck Taylors.
Chuck Taylors, for sure.
Those were popular in middle school.
For sure.
Converse All-Star.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I
And they
love
were
those
so
shoes.
uncomfortable.
Oh, I found them to be very comfortable.
Oh, I thought they were very uncomfortable.
But I have very skinny feet.
You talking about like the high top?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Do you have big fat feet like Josh?
I do have wide feet,
Well,
so
then
they were very
they-
uncomfortable.
Yes,
yeah.
they're very narrow shoes.
I mostly can't wear Nikes. Nikes are.
Yes, I can't either, Josh.
Yeah,
it's
see,
hilarious.
you're in the
I
same
can't.
boat?
Yeah,
I'm
I
not,
wear.
I'm not supposed to, but I do.
Foot. You don't.
Have you? I wear like Asics and brands like that have a little bit wider
I have
shoe.
to do the same.
Tire Guy Jesus texted in. He said, we need a pair of Nas Reed shoes.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah.
What does it take to get your own shoe? You just I don't know anything about the business.
I don't know if it takes much, really.
So
does it?
a shoe company has to think of you as a big seller.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
You
is
just have to
Nas
have a
Reed's not
partnership.
likely to get a shoe then? I mean, even though we all love him, he's
Probably not. No.
kids in Chicago aren't going to run to buy a
Yeah.
Nas Reed.
Do you remember the Spreewell Sprees, Latrell Sprewell? When
No.
he was here?
No.
They had the gist was they were going to be an affordable basketball shoe, right? Because they're expensive. I mean, if you want to get a Jordan or
Right.
something,
Right.
And it had little spinners on them. Back when spinners were
F
popular
me.
in cars.
What?
Yeah, you could spin like a little wheel, looking thing on the side.
That is so cool.
He was nuts, wasn't he?
He kind of had a.
A little extra tight grip on those shoes, maybe?
Yeah. Right, it go right around your throat.
Yeah.
When you put his shoes on, it felt like you were being strangled. Yeah.
Just ask PJ Carlissimo.
Right. Here's a listener who had Bo Jackson's signature shoe back in the day.
Sure.
I should have my own damn signature flip-flops.
Yes, you
love
should.
flip-flops.
I'm a flip-flops guy.
State fair this year, maybe we get some
There you go.
Dude.
signature flip flops going.
There you go.
If-
That's
as long-
a great marketing
If they're $1
idea.
a piece, $1 a piece. Radio Jesus what do they call it in the business? Signature flip-flops. Thank you for the idea, bisexual gamer.
You know what?
Jesus.
And put Nick's picture in the inside of the shoe and just have him say "walking on Nick."
You can wipe your dirty feet
walk
all
right
over
on
my
his
face.
Yes.
I guess I technically have my own signature style of shoes because I created one on Vans. That I don't know if you guys ever noticed, but that's mostly all I wear.
No, Vans. I'm aware of the shoe.
We've done that before.
I have a pair of Vans.
Yeah, and so I made my own custom pair online, and I've got those. So those are special.
How do you make your own shoe online?
They have a customize your shoe option, so you can pick different colors for every single part of the shoe.
Oh.
You can get writing on the back of them. Yeah, it's really fun.
You can do that with Nike, too. I got a couple of those.
It's so cool, but it costs a little bit.
You guys are something. Randy Shaver, Golden Gopher women's basketball national champions.
Yes. Congrats.
Of the
WBIT. Yeah. That's right, PJ. Very excited.
The dude's pumped.
He loves his school.
Yeah.
All the day.
I'm actually excited about the Gopher men right now because they signed B.J. Omat, the kid from Mankato.
Okay.
Who played at North Dakota and played at Cal. He's 6'8". He's got 2 years left of eligibility.
All right.
Cam Heidi went in the transfer portal yesterday.
Oh.
This is the kid from Wayzata.
Sure.
That played 2 years at Purdue or 3 years at Purdue. We talked about Trey Holloman the other day. I mean, there's some former Minnesota basketball stars who have put themselves back, made themselves available. Whether that means they're coming here or not, I couldn't tell you. But that's exciting.
Well, yeah, maybe they're considering it.
Yes. And I think they're considering it because obviously it's a different era, I guess, of Gopher basketball and we talked about this when they hired Nico. It's a different deal now because you hired a guy who's in the prime of his career. It's not like he's Tubby Smith and the best years have passed him by, still got a name, that kind of thing. It's not like you hired a guy that didn't have experience,
right?
Like Ben Johnson. This is a guy who's got a proven track record, who's a young guy, who's excited about being here, and I think that a lot of people will gravitate towards that. So,
well, we look forward to big things from the man. A listener wants to know, Randy Shaver, if you were to design your own shoe like Ashley and Derek did, would you make them Velcro?
Yes, I would.
Yeah, I always thought that was kind of cool.
And I would have my own shoehorn.
Yeah, because you can't be bending over to put those damn things.
Hell no.
I got a buddy that just bought one of those. He was asking how much crap he should get about
I need one. I can't bend to put my socks or shoes on anymore.
We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks, as always, for listening to the podcast. And, of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
It's part sports.
We have football on the brain.
Part pop culture.
Dennis Leary.
True or false? You refuse to wear a glove with Mickey Mantle's signature on it for the movie The Sandlot.
The Red Sox blood, the Bruins blood, they run deep.
And in the best celebrity interviews.
Robert De Niro here on The Rich Eisen Show. How are you, sir?
Just got over a 24-hour virus.
The antidote is to appear on The Rich Eisen Show.
There you go. I would have just done it earlier.
And you've got The Rich Eisen Show podcast.
There is a medicinal quality to appearing on this program.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Half-assed morning show.
They are in an alternate reality than ours. They are in that rock and roll rock reality.
They surround themselves with these professional dickheads.
And I'm not even really sure if they're aware, you know?
I don't think they're aware of how much they suck.
93X rocks.
Welcome back to the program. What do I have going on around here? Oh, where the hell did I put that information I had?
Is it on the ground? Sometimes that happens too.
I swear to God. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Yeah, welcome back to the pro. That's where I was headed. That's the direction I was trying to head. You're a wonderful crowd. Welcome back to the Half-Assed Morning Show. Thursday. It's a home opener. Early in the morning. Before we go any further, whichever the proper way is to say that, hopefully one of our listeners can go see this here big reunion show. Oasis is back, and they're looking to start trouble. Oasis Live 25. Bringing their U.S. tour to L.A., and we want to send you to see them at the damned iconic Rose Bowl Stadium. So text the national keyword AWAY, A-W-A-Y. Text the national keyword AWAY to the number 95819 to enter for a chance to win. You'll get a trip for two, round-trip air, 2-night stay, $250 spending cash, and 2 tickets to see Oasis live in concert with special guest Cage the Elephant. We wish you all the luck in the world on this. Again, the word is AWAY, and the number is 95819. We've been rapping back and forth. We've mentioned once or twice our flippin' program director is filling in for Dana on the soundboard this morning. Derek Madden is the name. Maybe you've heard of him. Appreciate you hanging out, Derek.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Dana and his new wife are likely changing sex positions right now.
Oh, God.
On their gross honeymoon. He'll be back next week. We were talking earlier about your career in radio, and you've met this person and you've met that person. In this business, you do meet a lot of musicians and bands and things like that. Have you ever met the Gallagher brothers from Oasis? I hear they like to start scraps.
So I have not met them in person, but I have interviewed Liam Gallagher, and he's a fantastic interview.
Is he the nice one? Because I know the two of them hate each other. They're brothers, right? Liam and Noel?
Yeah, they do. They do have their issues, certainly. I wouldn't say he's nice. I think what made him a great interview is that he just does not care and will say whatever, whenever.
How did you understand a word that was coming out of his mouth?
Yeah, I know.
Well, it helps with the soccer. I kind of understand the various British accents.
Since you watch soccer on television, European soccer, you've become accustomed to the accent.
I can tell you sort of the different parts of like Britain and the way the accents differ a little bit.
I could use your help then. Nick, I think you're in the same boat. If I'm watching something and there's a lot of British accents, I have to turn on the closed captions. There's a show called Mobland we just started.
Oh, I just started that as well, yeah.
Can you understand what they're saying?
I can, yeah.
My wife and I were having a lot of trouble.
That's impressive because, like Josh, I have to turn on the subtitles anytime there's any kind of an accent. The English one throws me. Irish, I can't follow what the hell they're talking about.
I have the subtitles on a lot just because I can't hear.
Well, that's...
Yeah, I'm getting that way, too.
Yeah, you keep these headphones on your skull long enough, your hearing goes into the toilet. You ever interview Ozzy Osbourne?
I have. That was a bit more of a challenge.
Very difficult. Very difficult. Because not only does he have the thick accent, but he mumbles.
It's a lot
right. Yeah. There's a lot of guttural noises and mouth noises, and you can't figure out what was a word or was he just clearing his throat,
We got a whole batch of IDs once from him, like, hey, this is Ozzy Osbourne, you're listening to 93, except you couldn't understand a word. Like, it was totally useless. Send it all back.
Brian Johnson of AC/DC. Very, very difficult to follow.
Yeah.
They're coming to town next week.
Pretty soon. You going?
I am not.
I am.
You're going?
Good for you. You're going to go to the show?
Yeah,
have you
I'm very
ever
excited.
Never seen them before?
Never.
See, I've seen AC/DC multiple, and they're one of the greatest bands ever. I love AC/DC. I'll always love them. I still listen to them almost every day. But at this point, a Thursday night out in downtown Minneapolis until 11:30 midnight, it just doesn't work for me anymore. So I hope everyone has a blast. I mean, how many people do they pack into the new Metrodome for a concert? 75,000 or something like that?
Yes, 60 some. Yeah, you're right.
I'm sure it'll be a ride. I'm very excited for you, Ashley, to see them for the very first time. But I won't be making it.
It's my first time as well, actually, yeah.
Cool.
This will be your first AC/DC show.
I've seen so many shows, but never AC/DC, and I kind of feel like this might be my last chance. You know what I mean? So
I bet we have very different seats.
You think?
I'm surprised, too, that you haven't, because you've seen so many. I thought maybe you go see them with Axl Rose or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would have liked to, and I've seen Guns N' Roses a ton of times, but it just hasn't worked out for me until now.
And when you're not helping us out, you got no problem being in downtown Minneapolis till midnight, 1, 2, 3. This is totally against the grain for you to be coming in at 4 a.m. to help the program out.
Yeah.
So you'll be just fine next week.
I'll be all right. I mean, I live pretty close to downtown anyway. So,
yeah. AC/DC coming to town. Yeah, interviewing Brian Johnson once was a hell of a task. Trying to think who else, Cubby.
That was tough to understand.
Tough to follow with the thick accent. Oh, damn, it's been years.
The band Muse, I don't know if you
I don't know
those
them.
guys.
I know the name.
Not
Well,
only
I've
are
heard
they
one of
British,
those
but they speak really fast.
That's the hard part, right?
Yeah, that's tough.
When they speak really fast, that makes it way worse. Yeah.
Well, you've been the boss around here for 10 years now, Derek, and part of your job is to keep an eye on the employees that we have left in the building. Have you noticed any taskmasters? I'll say that again in case I didn't make it clear. Taskmasters, M-A-S-K-E-R-S.
Not masters, maskers.
Yes, maskers, like a masquerade.
Like people who are fake doing work?
That's exactly what it is. This is the latest hot term going around town. Task masking is where employees spend a lot of time and effort trying to look like they're working hard when really they're not doing anything.
You kind of wonder sometimes, right? Maybe it'd just be easier to do what you're supposed to do. There's definitely people we've worked with that whatever it is that they've done, they will send a page email going through step by step by step, so you know how much effort they put into
That is ridiculous.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I do. I guess I don't try to fake anybody. I don't try to come off phony like that. If I'm not doing anything, it's pretty obvious that I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
If I'm busy, you can tell I'm busy. But there are people out there who like to put on a show, and it cracks me up to think, especially when I read this part of the information I have in front of me about task masking. 651-989-9393. Tell me about the folks at your workplace that F off. Tell me about some of the things they do to make it look like they're busy when they're really not. I bet there'd be some funny answers to this.
This reminds me of the people that make it seem like what they're doing is really difficult. And like it takes so much more work than it does. And then you do the same thing and you're like, that was one of the easiest things I've ever done in my life.
Oh, we could write friggin' novels on this, couldn't we, Ashley?
Yeah.
They make it seem like what they're doing is the tallest task you could ask a human being, right?
That's for sure.
So dramatic about it. And then when you take their place one day for maybe just one day, hey, this ain't that big of a damn deal. A lot of folks just have so much drama going on, and they love to make themselves out to be much more important than they really are. But this is what cracked me up on the topic of task masking. Okay, they say it's a problem with the young people. Fair enough. I'm not going to start knocking young people around just yet. But there are videos on TikTok that will advise you on how to properly task mask. More or less, advise you on how to fool your coworkers and your boss into believing you're working when you're really not. And picturing this cracked me up. Stuff like walking fast with a laptop stuffed under your arm. So you just scoot across the office like, I got to get somewhere and open up this computer because I'm a very important person and a very busy person.
If I saw somebody doing that, I would assume, wow, they're really in the middle of something.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That's hilarious.
I got to learn a lesson from that guy. He's really working.
I would probably buy it. I would, like Josh said, I would think, whoa, step aside. Here comes Ernie, and he's got something to do. The other advice on how to task mask, at least with an office job, it's probably much harder when you have manual, labor in front of you. Something else you can do in an office job is just type really loud on your computer. Just don't get in my way, or you'll be hurt here. I'm really kicking ass on this email. Type really loud.
I learned the Alt-Tab on a PC, right, where you can change between windows, what you're working on, different applications. I learned that from a former internet guy, and the reason he had that is because he was going to play Tetris, or not Tetris, that's what you play, Solitaire.
Solitaire.
And so he could hit that real quick to go into an app that looks like he's actually doing some work if the boss
Anybody walks by, he hits one button, and he goes back to what appears to be a project.
Yeah, I was an idiot clicking on different things, and he's like, no, you got to do this. This is how I hide what I'm really doing.
Oh, God. So this is obviously something that's always been a thing. People have been effing off for work since the dawn of time. Effing off at work, I should say, since the dawn of time. But now we have to give everything a name, and the name is task masking. This is funny. Aluminum Melting Jesus texted in to say, I once watched a maintenance guy turn the same bolt for 30 minutes. Walked up to him, and I said, dang, how long is that bolt? He then pulled it out by hand, winked, and put it back in. He knew he was just killing time, just turning that same bolt, man. It's going to take me a while on this.
I'm such an idiot. The first job I had, I was 14 or 13, almost 14, working at a movie theater. And I thought, the boss is going to be impressed if I get all my work done. And I got it done so fast I can sit down.
Right.
And I did that, and she came in and started yelling at me, and it dawned on me what an idiot I was that, no, she wants to see me working, not relaxing. But I thought, I'm really going to impress this lady because all the tasks she gave me, I took care of before she even got back.
And I bet the veteran coworkers at that movie theater who had been there for a while probably walked up and said, typical rookie mistake.
I'm sure, yeah.
I mean, just do what your responsibility slowly but surely. Don't get it all done at once, and maybe they'll ask you to do something extra. You ever caught a DJ napping in front of the board or anything like that, Derek?
I think I've been a DJ napping in front of that board.
Have you fallen asleep?
I got a sleep disorder. I'll fall asleep anywhere. I'm surprised I haven't fallen asleep during this show.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've sleep apnea, but a pretty severe case.
Oh, that's rough. I'm sorry.
Here's a listener who says, I love it when people schedule emails to be sent super late at night or super early in the morning to make it look like they are working during off hours.
I don't know about you guys, but I can always tell. I can tell when people do that. Yeah.
I can't tell.
There's no way you're up at 3:30 in the morning sending this email every single day at the same exact time. Come on.
I do it the opposite way, where if I don't want people to know I'm working at certain times so I don't get bothered in those hours, I'll send it during more normal work hours.
Oh,
I never considered that you could do it the other way.
Here's a listener who says, when I have nothing to do at work, I walk around the factory with a clipboard in my hand. That's hilarious. I was, when I was working warehouse gigs before I got into radio, I was the guy who would pretend he had to go to the bathroom when he really didn't. So I would just so I could just be alone for 10, 15 minutes. And
alone with your thoughts.
Yes. I would just, I got to go to the bathroom. When I really didn't. I just wanted to sit on the friggin' head for just 10, 15 minutes and just be away from everybody. We had one boss that found me out, figured me out, but I didn't care. But usually, yeah, if I'm effing off, you know it. If I'm working, you know it too. So,
yeah, the best part of this gig is, like, if you don't have anything to do, you just go home.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's true. With the way we can work from home, I mean, what the hell? Josh and I started back in the day when you had to be here to get your specific jobs done for the next day. Now we can do it from home, which is a beautiful thing. Taskmasters, they've been around forever. Now they've got a name. Keep an eye on those bastards.
Half-assed morning show. Due to some sexual content, parental discretion is advised.
On 93X.
Oh, be damned. We're about out of here, but we were talking about task maskers. Task maskers. It's a new term, but an old gimmick. It's more or less pretending like you're very, very busy at work when you're really not accomplishing a damn thing. So we asked our listening audience, how do you F off at work? How do you get away with it? Are you a taskmaster? What do you do? Here's a few text messages that have come in. Listener says, when I need a break from everyone else for a few minutes, I get on a forklift with an empty pallet, and I drive it around acting like I'm looking for something. I dig it.
That'd be fun.
Probably not going to get questioned, right?
As long as that forklift is running, you're weaving in and out of rooms and whatnot. You got to get the pallet. Looks like you're about ready. Maybe you just unloaded something. Maybe you're ready to load something. I started work on a large farm recently, says a listener. And I found out there are a lot of gates that need to be looked at. When you need some time to yourself, there's always going to be a gate that needs to be looked at. Kind of reminds me of the city workers who will stare at a hole in the ground for 20 minutes, half hour.
Oh, yeah, there's a hole right there, isn't there?
Using a mouse mover so my icon stays green and shows that I'm active. Can anyone explain that to me in plain English?
Yeah, during the pandemic, especially, when people were working at home, folks were doing that, where it just kind of moves the mouse every once in a while, so it appears that you're actually doing something.
Okay.
Yeah.
You put a little battery in it or something, and it'll move on its own. And if people are tracking you, they believe.
I'm not sure exactly how they work.
Okay, all right.
But I've heard others. So some companies were putting in, like, using the cameras to track head movements to make sure that there was somebody sitting there at the desk doing whatever they're supposed to do.
Isn't that amazing?
So extra.
It's a little creepy.
Up at the crack of dawn, Jesus said, taskmasters. At our company, we just call them bosses.
Oh. The ones who don't do Dick Tracy.
A lot of people texting in this reference asked me about CrossFit. Jesus said he sometimes does the George Costanza from Seinfeld. I look annoyed. If you look annoyed, people think you're busy.
I thought he meant take a nap under his desk.
That's not bad. Even just your facial expression.
Yeah. Oh, he must be deep in thought.
Can lead folks
to figure something out.
I've done that to avoid small talk in the building here.
Seriously?
Yeah, I've learned that people won't, if I'm on my way out especially, people won't talk to me if I look irritated.
That's hilarious.
Another forklift driver who says operating a forklift is a great way to task mask. You can always just, almost the same text as we got a minute ago. You can always just drive around with an empty pallet. Or two, pretending you're either getting something or cleaning something up. That's. Apparently there is a website where you can make it look like your computer is getting an update. So if the boss walks by and checks you out, he sees that you can't work right now because the computer is updating. Has anyone heard of that game?
That's hilarious. Pinstriper Jesus said he calls a coworker Old McDonald because he milks out every task he gets. He's just going to milk that one out.
What about USB foot pedals that switch tabs for you on your computer so you can hide it under your desk?
Oh, sure.
And operate it with your foot?
Wow. Jeez, people go to crazy lengths.
Right. At some point, you're maybe doing a lot of work to make it look like you're not doing work.
I'm with you.
Sure. When I was doing overnights, this listener says at a, how should I say this? I don't want to say the company name. At a sporting goods store. Doing overnights at a sporting goods store. The key was to walk quickly while looking at a sheet of paper. Like you're going somewhere important. Okay? That also works for me. I'm an electrician. I once walked around at a brisk pace all day through a building carrying a pipe. Work was slow, so I walked around the building at a brisk pace, just simply carrying a pipe in my hand. One of the bosses stopped me at the end of the day and said that I was the hardest worker she's ever seen.
This person says, when I run out of things to do, I just scroll through bills on QuickBooks and then read articles when they're not looking.
As long as you've got a tape gun in your hands, Josh, you look busy.
Oh, sure.
And finally, you don't necessarily have to be working to task mask. A listener texted in to say, finally on my end at least, maybe Cubby's got a couple more here. Listener says, I was on a canoe trip with some guys in a 3-man canoe. I was in the middle. While we were going down the river, I heard my buddy behind me making very laborious sounds with his mouth. I turned around and the paddle was laying across his knees. He was not helping us paddle at all, and it was extremely windy out, LOL.
School Cop Jesus, he brings this one up. I think we've talked about this before. I love it. His old partner was called 007. Remember this one, Nick?
Tell me about 007.
So 007 is a cop.
Okay, cops.
0 calls, 0 traffic stops, 7 bathroom breaks.
That's great.
A few people are saying they work with people who are they're delivery drivers or some sort of driver, and they'll plan their routes to be the most inefficient, just to waste more time, that kind of thing.
Just to get it done too quickly, but they might ask you to do something extra. There's all kinds of shortcuts. Well, Derek, we're going to wrap things up here in a couple minutes. You going to come back tomorrow?
I am. Maybe not ever again after that, but definitely tomorrow.
Well, we appreciate you helping us out.
Friday's an F-off day.
Yeah, it'll be easy enough.
You've probably noticed that.
Yeah.
But we appreciate all your help, by God.
Thank you guys for having me. It's been cool.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
it's been fun.
Happy 32nd to Jared, and have a great long honeymoon weekend in Hinckley with the new wife, JC, who I've been told is going to get some.
Honeymoon in Hinckley?
Yeah, honeymoon in Hinckley.
Your sucker Dana went all the way to Mexico.
Renegade Bagger Jesus texts in a birthday shout-out to his beautiful wife, Peggy. Stick around for this morning's keyword for free gas for a year, and hope to see you tomorrow.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
You gotta be kidding me. Who greenlit this garbage? The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks, as always, for listening to the podcast. And, of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.